Your show is scheduled to start in 32 seconds. Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Nobody take no cornbread from me.
All right. Okay. Almost there. Get your drinks ready. Tell somebody you love them. We are ready. Ladies and gentlemen, hey guys, how you doing? My name is Tim Black. Welcome to the Tim Black at Night Show. I'm glad you're here, because I'm here and I'm all ready to go. So I want to give a big shout out to everybody out there on Facebook, Periscope, iTunes, Blog Talk Radio, Stitcher Radio, YouTube, and Facebook. I said that, right? Yeah, I said everything. Everybody. Give a big shout out to everybody. Tim Black's Wolfpack all the way around. Don't let nobody take your cornbread. And you got to sprinkle some facts on them. That's right. I'm pulling it all out tonight. Right behind me is my Wolfpack, because why? My Wolfpack has my back. That's right. So become a member of the Tim Black Wolfpack, and we are the revolution. We're the change. Nobody else going to do it for us. So we're people powered. This show is brought to you by TimBlackTV.com. Also, justinformed.com, a social media site doesn't steal your data. It's also brought to you by people like you. Because, believe me, the DNC, the GOP, the RNC, none of those got anything to do with me. They don't want me and I don't want them. We good. Not working to get a job. Now, this is the people that watch the show that hate that, because that's their whole purpose in life is to get a job, kissing some butt, Rachel Maddow's butt, just Oh, I can't wait to just kiss Chris Hayes' ass. Just Chris Hayes. Can I please, Chris Hayes? Can I come on the show? Please, Chris Hayes. Can I? This is the new cable, dummy. You gotta kiss nobody's butt to be on it. Just be good at what you do. Create a community. Stop putting on your tap dancing shoes. Create your own audience, lazy bastard. All right, so on with the show. Today, Now, tonight is Freedom Friday, which means you get to call up to the show. The phone number, let me put that on the screen now. You call this, ooh, that's not it. Call this number, if I can find it. Oh, here we go. Call this number, guys. Call this number, 319-527-6212. And that's the number you call up to get in the queue to be able to speak to the world. Phone line looks good. I hope it's good. Won't know till later. What else? I got some stories. So what I do, so everybody calls up, you get a maximum of 5 minutes to talk about any political issue, what's going on, you want to talk about, or social. It could be something that's happening in the news, anything in the news cycle that concerns you, or a topic that concerns you, something you think people need to hear about. What else? That's what we do. You get 5 minutes to do that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't screen calls, but I don't stand trolls. I don't suffer fools. So you call up this joint acting like a fool, you will get dunked on. Yeah, so these people are still butthurt because, I ain't gonna get into it. I'm gonna leave it alone. You talk about people, you just feeding the trolls. So I'm gonna leave it alone. But I'll just say this, I find it very funny that the people that start the drama are always the ones that play victim. Always play victim. Somebody could come up to you, knock the hat off your head, knock your ice cream cone out your hand, and then kick you in the kneecap. And if you punch him, he hit me. And the people believe it. They don't even care about what he did. It's like, you hit him. We saw it. You hit him. Yeah, but he kicked me in the kneecap. He knocked my ice cream to the ground, and I wanted to eat that ice cream. I worked real hard on that ice cream. Then he kicked me in my knee. We don't care. He's our friend. We should be able to do what he wants to do to you. You're nobody. To us. Anyway, so that's what happens. That's been my life the last couple of days online. I've been dealing with that type of garbage, but I'm not going to name names because, hey, it's bad enough to taking up free rent in my brain, so I'm going to let it go right now. That's what I'm telling you, to get it out of me. Now you're infected. All right, so what I do now is I run through a quick monologue of stories that you may not have heard about. Also, go to my YouTube channel to catch my most up-to-date stuff that I've been covering. I've been covering a lot of stuff, man. Oh, I've been on it. I've been grinding. You know, I covered earlier in the week, I covered New York Mayor Bill de Blasio running for president. Covered that. I'm going to have a great video coming out tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern time, which really is an excerpt of a show I did, plus I added some other stuff to make it even more entertaining. And that's going to be coming out at 3. So please, if you're around tomorrow, Saturday, go to my YouTube channel, Tim's Take, Tim Black on YouTube, and you'll find that video. It's going to be a great video. I think it's going to do very well. Even though most people don't care about Bill de Blasio, it's a good video. So yeah, like, people are still jumping in this race. Some people say we have 23. Some people say 24. And then some people say 25 candidates are running for the Democratic nomination for 2020. That's crazy. That's way too many people for one job. I thought Trump said that the unemployment numbers were great. Well, we got 25 people looking for the same job. Man, that's bad. Thought we had extra jobs. So anyway, and look, when I was coming up, I thought running for president was like a big deal. Only certain people could do it. Even though my mama always looked down at me, baby, you could run for president. You could be president. Stop lying to that boy. Shut up before I hit you in the head. You could be president if you want to. Mama, but I got a D in math. You don't need math. The president don't balance budgets. He spends. You know how to spend money, don't you? Well, you can be president. So, and now that I'm all grown up, and luckily, you know, I still have my mom, we realize things have changed with presidents. I mean, virtually anybody can run for president nowadays. You don't need a certain set of skills. Nah, you don't need nothing. What's that guy? I have a certain set of skills. Guy who said he once for money, he went looking around to kill a black guy because a girl he knew got beat up, got raped by a black guy somewhere. what's the guy named? Elliot Ness? I don't know his name. Costner? I don't know, forget his name. Anyway, I used to think you had to have a special set of skills. Skills that I've honed over a long career. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you. You know, I thought that's the way you had to be in order to run for president. You had to have a certain set of skills. Like, people, you know, we say a lot of things about Obama, but he had a certain set of skills. He was willing to take money from Wall Street and the banks. He could give a good speech. And, you know, he likes Jay-Z. You know, he had a certain set of skills. He was a good talker, you know, certain things. Donald Trump came along, he had a certain set of skills. Snake oil salesman, popular with the ladies, smooth talker, knows how to put on a rally. I mean, he has a certain set of skills. But now anybody's running. Now, some people are so arrogant, they think they can just jump in this race no matter who they are, no matter if they built up a profile or not. Here goes the latest. Now, you guys know Stacey Abrams. She ran for governor in the state of Georgia. Would have been the first black female governor, and definitely and in the South. Woo, hot. So she ran, and it was really close. She lost out to Kemp, and there's lawsuits pending regarding voter suppression and other issues that they're alleging happened in Georgia. And but the latest is she may be running for president. Yeah, even at this late date, she's talking about getting into it. Here goes the clip of Stacey Abrams talking about running for president.
To win.
First, let me just follow up on Allie's question. Are you prepared to shut the door on a presidential run right now?
No, I'm not. Again, as I've said before, I'm watching to see what happens. I think we've got a robust crop of candidates, and I think they're having important conversations. But my mission is to make certain that we are keeping that attention focused all the way through the campaign. And so I'm going to keep watching and decide if I need to jump in.
You've said before you've been willing to wait until September. Is that still the operative timeline in your view? It's late, right? Because you may miss out on some ground game opportunities, talking to voters in early states, some debates.
Well, I think the debates are an important part of this process, but the debates are new. And while I think it's a critical piece that can happen, I do believe I can enter the conversation as late as the fall and still have a real chance to win.
Okay. All right. So you just going like, just say, I'll just get into it when I'm ready. I'll run anytime I feel like running. And I think I got a chance too. Y'all don't find that arrogant at all. Now, you know, I mean, I'm just keeping it 100. Like, look, I know there are people that like Stacey Abrams. I have not researched her. I read some things that were troubling, and I read some things that were positive, okay? So I just want to keep this conversation on this video. Because I know people send me mail, but Tim, she did this and she did that. I'm not saying I'd vote for her. What I'm saying is, just look at the video for what it's worth. Did you hear what she said? She said she wanted to make certain that we're keeping our attention focused on the conversation. I don't even know what that means. Why do people just get to talk? I mean, I talk, but it says I'm a talk show host. I'm a political pundit, commentator, comedian / activist. I talk for a living. That's what I do. Isn't it a little bit different when you want to run for president? Shouldn't you do more than talk? What is she saying? I want to keep attention focused, so I'm going to make certain. I'm going to be watching them. I'm going to make certain, because I don't want to have to step in and save the country or the world, you know. You know how I do. I just step on in and just clean everything up. Just me, you know. I just walk in and just... And the comment, and the host asked me, he said, well, look, don't you, if you're going to wait as late as September? Like, you do realize there are going to be debates in June. I don't need no stinking debates. They just started doing debates. Now, look, I was doing some research earlier today, not even for this story, and I saw debates between the first George Bush, and Ronald Reagan. So when you say they just started doing them, since you've been alive, they've been doing debates, man. Don't make it sound like they just came up with them last week and now they're optional. They're not optional. And what about what she said? If you wait till September, then there's like no way to campaign in early states. People are working their asses off in Iowa and New Hampshire right now, and you, Stacey Abrams, you're just float in September like, oh, this is what y'all do here. Y'all been working, huh? So sorry for you guys having to work all hard. I'm going to walk in and just take this thing. People going to be like, who are you? Oprah Winfrey? Look, Oprah looks different on TV. You know, nobody's going to even know who you are. Alfre Woodward? Alfre Woodward, I saw in that movie The Help. No, that wasn't Alfre Woodward. It's never a black lady. Oh! Vivica Fox. People don't even know who you are, woman. What are you talking about? Now, if you wait till September to run and no one knows who you are, you get 0% of the vote, I don't want to hear nothing. No, I don't want to hear you complaining. Rumors are that people are saying they're going to run only because they want to help raise money for the Democratic Party. I don't know if that's true or not, but I know it's to me, it's very arrogant to just be chilling on the sidelines talking about what you're going to do. You know, and I don't think look, hey, I think most of the people that are in it have no shot. But who am I to tell them what they can and cannot do? But I think it's doubly arrogant to be like, I'll just jump in whenever I feel like it, man. I don't care about debates or early state campaigning or none of that or selling myself to the American people. I just show up just chilling. Anyway, I just thought it was hilarious. Because it is. What's not hilarious? What is not hilarious, guys, is, sexual assault is not hilarious. It's really not, it's not hilarious. Neither is making fun of people being assaulted, whether physically or sexually. Well, Tony Robbins was just accused of this by BuzzFeed, right? And it's bad because, when I grew up, I heard of, Tony Robbins. I found Tony Robbins to be an inspirational guy, man. One of those guys say, use your mind. Use your mind. You can accomplish anything. He always had a lot of energy. Just always, telling you to do it all, be it all. The power within. That's it. The power within. I had that book. I got it. I bought that book when I was 14 years old or something. And his story was remarkable. He was a fat kid living in an apartment with his parents, and he was depressed, and he just changed his life. He's like, I can help anybody change their life. Well, it turns out, according to what they're saying, that he needs to change his life. Again, because the way they're depicting him, they make him look like a scumbag. Here it goes. Tony Robbins accused of sexual misconduct and berating rape victims. Yeah, they say he was at his events telling women who were telling their traumatic stories of being sexually assaulted or raped, he was telling them to just, get over it. Let's buckle up. Come on. Sitting here crying about what somebody did to you. What's wrong with you, lady? Get up. Shake it. Walk it off. Just walk it off. That's an excuse for you to wallow in your own self-pity, lady. What? He did what? What is wrong with, I had no idea. Did any of you know this was going on? Allegedly. Now, Tony Robbins has a legal team that says this is all lies, fabrications, and even one of the women whose stories they used to in this report says that her comments were taken out of context, and that's not exactly what she said, and she's defending Tony Robbins. Now, I don't know how strong your story sounds or how much it can be believed if one of the prime people and the witnesses in your story, one of your accusers in your story, is debunking you the moment your story comes out. Doesn't sound good. Doesn't sound like you got a real strong story there. But they're standing behind it. Now, they say that the motivational speaker Misconduct includes having his bodyguards troll audiences for attractive female fans to bring to him. Look, guys, that's not illegal. It may be unseemly if he's a married guy, may be unethical if he's a married guy, but like stars do that all the time. And Tony Robbins is a star. I'm not saying it's cool. I'm not saying it's smart. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do, but people do look for people. They do say, hey, go, because you go for... Rick James did it all the time. Rick James is like, give it to me, baby. You know? I'm Rick James and just had people go in the crowd, go get me a redhead, or go get me a woman with an afro. Like, they would just do that. I'm not saying this right, but as disgusting as you may make it, you may feel about it, right? Or as cool as some of you think, who don't, you know, whatever you think. It doesn't matter what you think. Here's the deal. It's not against the law to go scouting for chicks. Unethical, borderline, creepy, especially if you're a self-help guru. It's supposed to be, you may make you a counterfeit, right? Okay, you may not want to buy his books anymore, but why is that an article and why is that like sexual misconduct? So I got to read a little bit more because I don't feel like that is, you might not want to take life advice from him, but that doesn't mean you should write an article about him being, let's keep going. Now they said they have secret recordings that reveal that the awakening giant within has been horrific to some women who have come to the microphone at his popular multi-day events and revealed they were raped and emotionally and physically abused. Okay, so see, like this is bad, right? But it's not illegal. It's not illegal to be a jerk. If it was illegal to be a jerk, like Anthony and Opie, remember them? They'd be all be in jail. And sometimes they were funny, especially when Patrice O'Neal. If you don't know what I'm talking about, but Anthony and Opie and Patrice O'Neal, you need to go look it up. It was very offensive, but they were funny at times. But if being a jerk was enough to like try to ruin someone's life, everybody's life would be ruined at some point because everybody's been a jerk at some point. Look, I just don't think that there may be more to this story that I haven't gotten to yet. You know, if did he do something to somebody? These are things he said to people who paid to be there, who could have just said, give me my money back and leave. He's not locking doors on anybody. What's he doing? He's being a jerk. But I'll tell you this, and I'm going to leave this story alone. I'll tell you this. I'm always one of these people who like to blame myself for things, right? Because if you blame yourself, you can fix it, right? So if I say, man, I need, this isn't working out for me, I like taking responsibility for it, even if it's not all my fault, because I can control me. I can't control you, so I adopt that philosophy. I don't know about you, right? This is a Tim learning moment. I take responsibility for things that aren't always my fault, just so that I can feel like I'm in control of a situation. Well, I'm going to do this. It's my fault. It's me. I'll fix it. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I don't like feeling like I'm victim, like there's nothing I can do. I think that's maybe what he was driving at when these women would say, hey, this guy did this to me. He'd say, well, why did you let him do it? Why didn't you leave him? Why didn't you get out of there? What's it about you that lets you stay there? I'm not saying it's right or wrong. What I'm telling you is it's a method. It's a method that I use on myself a lot. Now, hey, it may be more to this. Maybe he did some stuff. Maybe he touched someone. I don't know. But it'd be hard to be a motivational speaker if it turns out you're a demotivational speaker or a pet or a sexual abuser. Or you could be president. So even his career is over, he's going to be the next president. All right, next story. That's the sound of people unsubscribing. Tulsi Gabbard, man, she gets... First of all, Tulsi Gabbard has a great team, right? She has a great team of people. I learned, somebody told me today, I said, wow, she's got great videos. I love her campaign ads. They're always well put together. They always give you feeling. They elicit an emotional response. They're not full of a bunch of fluff. Some of them are inspirational, but most of them are substantive and inspirational. And she's always blunt. She's never beating around the bush. So I love them, and they're done well. And someone said, well, her husband produces them along with the team or whatever. So that's wow, that's great. So she's got a lot going for her campaign. And that's besides the fact that she's the most outspoken critic of war. She's our peace candidate. I think she's the most effective peace candidate in the race. Bernie's a second. And Bernie, I feel like Bernie's learning from her as well. I feel like it's great that we have more than one or two. We got a 2.5 progressive candidates in the race. It's great. So anyway, but one of the problems that she has is the same problem Bernie had in 2016, is that they love writing smear articles about her. Yeah, as soon as she starts to make any headway, they come another smear article. This time it comes from the Daily Beast. Another smear article, this one from the Daily Beast. And just check out the title of this article. Tulsi Gabbard's campaign is being boosted by Putin apologist. What does that even mean? They're still on this Russia nonsense, guys. That's all they talk about. That's all they got. They claim that donors to Tulsi Gabbard's campaign in the first quarter of the year included a person by the name of Stephen F. Cohen, a Russian studies professor of New York University, and a prominent Kremlin sympathizer. Look at that, a Kremlin sympathizer. Oh, God, what does that mean? That's so open-ended. What does that even mean, dude? I sympathize with the Kremlin. Okay. I sympathize with people that live in Prince George's County, Maryland, paying high taxes. I sympathize. What does that mean, though? I feel bad for them. No? I feel bad for people living in, places where they got hookworms. I keep hearing about it in Alabama. I feel bad for anybody who lives in Alabama right now, especially women. I sympathize. What's that mean? I sympathize with women who live in Georgia, who got to deal with these wacky laws. I sympathize. But in this case, since they don't like the Kremlin and they don't like Russia, you sympathizing with evil people. It's all a continuation of the smears that we've been hearing for the last 2.5 years. So they say, she took some money from someone. Meaning someone went to a website. It's not like she met him in a dark alley, right? And they were like, hey, Mrs. Gabbard, I got a briefcase full of money. I want you to be president and do our bidding. Now, we're talking about $1,000 that was given on a website, dude. No one tracks you. No one knows you. No one's anyone can go up to a website and put money and donate money. Anyone. It's open. How do you stop that? Until it's brought to someone's attention, that's the only way you even know about it. I mean, I got great people who donate to my show, but they do it when they want to. And if they don't do it, or if they do it, and if they're evil, I don't go and see, well, who is this person? He gave me $10. Oh, someone gave me $1 super chat. Are they Russian? Who does that? And I know it's a little bit different for political campaigns. I get that. I understand it. But what I'm saying is they make it sound so nefarious. Like it's a clandestine meeting at 3 a.m. on the docks, by the river or something, and armed guards and I'm not mistaken, this is about $1,000 contribution. Tulsi Gabbard raised millions of dollars. You are really talking about $1,000 from a sympathizer. He's not even an official. He's not even Russian. He's just somebody who sympathizes with the Russians, according to you, which could be sympathize. It could be something like, yeah, I don't want to see Russians get slaughtered. That's all. It'd be nice if Russians didn't get slaughtered. That's sympathizing. A thought you have in your head that's want somebody to get treated humanely or fairly in a situation. Having empathy, sympathy, that's all it is. It's not an overt act. What's the overt act? So anyway, back to this smear article written by this smear merchant, the Daily Beast. It says here, Gabbard is one of her party's more Russian-friendly voices in an era of deep democratic suspicion of the country in its efforts to tip the 2016 election scale in the favor of President Donald Trump. Russian-friendly. So Tulsi Gabbard is Russian-friendly because, check this out, she doesn't believe that Russia stole our democracy. That makes her Russian-friendly. I mean, it's actually a fact. Actually, the findings of the Mueller report were that they did not change the outcome of our election. They tried probably as much as we tried to meddle in an election. Actually, probably a little less, because when we try, we try. I mean, we're top of your whole regime. We'll take people out. We literally take people out. We literally form invasions like we're trying to do in Venezuela, like we're trying to do in Iran right now. Okay. Data on Gabbard's financial supporters only covers the first 3 months of the year. In that time, her campaign received just over $1,000. Like I stated from Cohen, this person wrote an article about $1,000 changing hands that somebody gave on a website. And then you know what they do? Then they go through the painstaking smear tactic of bringing up David Duke said he liked her. How do you control when somebody likes you or don't like you? There are people right now watching this show who have people that like them that they don't like. You can't stop somebody from liking you. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do in life, but you can't stop somebody from liking you. You can stop you from liking somebody, but you can't stop another person from liking you. If you're a public person, there are people who like me that I don't like. It's gotta be one person here who talks with his hands with his lady. No one knows it but him. Whoever you are a scumbag. You're a low-life individual putting your hands on a woman. But that's not my fault. I don't have anywhere contributing to him liking me. I'm not like, hey, I want people who are abusive to follow my show. I don't. But if they like politics told straight and make you laugh and then it gets emotional and it gets ferocious and I don't pull punches, like they like that part about me, what? They're going to like my show. I can't control. But this scumbag reporter, if you want to call him that, this hitman with a pen, this smear artist with an internet connection, they blame Tulsi Gabbard for David Duke, and then they blame her for other people. Who else? Richard Spencer. Richard Spencer said something. Richard Spencer, the white supremacists, they say he founded the alt-right. He used the word one time. So they call him the alt-right founder. Richard Spencer, whatever. The point is, they start throwing all this stuff against the wall. That's when you know they got nothing. It's a 14, 15, how many? It's a 20. It's a lot of paragraphs, but already by the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 paragraph, they're already bringing up all the usual smears. It's like they just make photocopy or copy and paste all the other smear stuff from all the other articles and put it at the bottom to make the article look longer. You know what I'm saying? Because it's all to the same stuff. Oh, she met with Assad, and and she sat down. She wanted to meet with him, and she told she would sit down and talk to our enemies, and it's just ridiculous, man. They're even talking about Susan Sarandon in this article. Susan Sarandon, the famous actress who earned the enduring wrath of Democrats for support of Green Party, Jill Stein, gave Gabbard $500. They're smearing Tulsi Gabbard because Susan Sarandon gave her $500. That's how petty they are. That is how petty they are. Oh, evil Susan Sarandon. The activist who's probably done more activism than you've done in your whole life. You jackass scumbag. You crumb. You maggot. You cockroach. It's ridiculous. Then they say, then they smear her again for going on the Joe Rogan show. Hey, look, listen, Garrett's media strategy has been counterintuitive. That means smart. That means she just doesn't resign herself to only appearing on MSNBC, where she gets smeared every time she goes on. Pretty much. So now they want to make it a bad thing that she's come up with ways to get promoted or get publicity, to get the word out, without going through CNN and MSNBC. Now that's negative. Now if they liked her, they would call it gutsy, creative, relentless, tenacious. They would use those words. But since it's, we don't like her because she wants to end wars, they got to use terms like, it's counterintuitive for a national Democrat, to go on shows that reach more people than CNN's episodes. She's made several appearances on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast. This person who wrote this is a piece of garbage. She's been on the Joe Rogan podcast twice. So now several is 2. 2. She's been there 2 times. She just went for the second time less than a week ago. But that makes her what? That makes her, what does that make her? I have a word for what it makes her. Ready? Smart. Here's another word. Savvy. Here's another word. Strategic. How about another word? Not dumb, like you and these other candidates. Like, you go where the people are. Go where the people are. Then they go and they continue to smear. They say, and listen to this. It may be one of the most popular platforms. Here comes the backhanded compliment, but it's a haven for Trump supporting guests. They had to admit, because like I stated, Joe Rogan's podcast already has 1.4 million views. The one she just did a few days ago, less than a week ago, already has 1.4 million views. And that's when I saw it earlier today, because it could be more by now. So they can't knock that it reaches a lot of people. Now they say, well, some Trump supporters have been on it. I tell you, man, I believe it there, because I could go all night on that. The reality is that they're afraid of Tulsi Gabbard, because Tulsi Gabbard is the conscience that the Democratic Party does want to ignore. She's a peace candidate. She's anti-war, anti-regime change war. Okay? She wants to tamp down on our military spending and redirect those monies to things like healthcare, schools, mental health, all of the things that we need in our societies, from helping to, cure opiate addiction to ending mass incarceration. She has a whole list of social programs that she's very interested in. In fact, I'm doing my best now to try to wake up the black community, and hopefully they'll listen to me, and they'll realize that I have their best interests at heart when I try to tell them that we got to stop listening to the CBC, the Congressional Black Caucus, and these other organizations that push the establishment candidates. We need to listen to these types of candidates that are willing to buck the trends and speak and fight for real change within the system, because what's happening now is not benefiting the black community at all. So that's sort of like what I've adopted to do for myself, as well as promote Bernie Sanders to do the same thing, because those are the candidates that will make change happen. Joe Biden ain't going to change nothing. Not going to change a damn thing. It's going to stay the same. That status quo, that's what he wants. So, Tulsi Gabbard, just keep doing what you're doing. They definitely, when you got smear articles by the Daily Beast and others, it's just because they're afraid of you. Like I stated, Tulsi Gabbard is the conscience of the Democratic Party that they want to ignore. It's like Democratic Party loves eating that war cake. And Tulsi Gabbard's like, look, that's not good for you. It's not good for us, it's not good for your family, it's not good for any of us. You don't need to eat that. The doctor said don't eat that, and you're eating that. And they're like, shut up, Tulsi, shut up. You know, I don't care about my diabetes. So what if I got to lose a foot? This cake tastes good. And Tulsi Gabbard's like, nah, I can't let you do it. And then they're like, get out of here. And eventually they get mad, get screaming mad. They want to fight her because she is telling them something that's important that's going to save not only their lives, but their kids' lives, the stability of the whole family, everything. So I hope that makes sense the way I put it. That's why I say she's the conscience of the Democratic Party. And they don't want a conscience. They want to be willing to do unfettered. They want to be as bad or inhumane as possible as they choose for profit. And there are a few people. Tulsi Gabbard is one of the leading people with war, when it comes to war and ending regime change wars, who's doing her best to kind of say, to convince them that that's not the way for the country to go. And you know what? If there are going to be many people across the globe who respect, appreciate, and even if it's tangentially, they support her candidacy because we are the aggressor in these countries. And anyone that they think could possibly end that, who would not root for that? Who would not root for peace in the Middle East? All right, I'm going to leave it there, guys. Phone number is 319-527-6212. Call up, let your voice be heard. I'm going to take calls in the order that they came in. But this is where I tell you, subscribe to this channel right now. Become a member of the Tim Black Wolfpack. We got great people. We do our best to shoot it straight. You may not always agree, but you gotta know that what we do, we mean it. Right? We mean it. That's right. We're not paid to feel a certain way. We do this because this is how we really feel. Okay? So that's what I love about doing this show, and that's what I love about my callers. We don't screen calls here, but please, guys, no trolling. All right? And that's not for my Wolfpack. That's for new people. You guys ready? I'm ready. Let's do this. First call in the queue is the 818 number. 818. 818, you're live on Freedom Friday. What's your name? What's your comment?
What's up, man? It's your boy Rob. How you doing, man?
I'm good, Rob. Talk to me, man. What's on your mind?
Oh, well, I got two things on my mind I need to ask you. Well, you need a dialogue. One, I want to say thank you and the other brothers for talking about Tulsi Gabbard. I see a lot of people on the left and the right been really, behind her back. You know what I'm saying? Two, she seems like a real more aggressive version of Bernie Sanders, female version. But I want to ask you, because my concern is this upcoming Democratic primary. What can we do to stop the DNC from making the primaries again? I want to support Bernie, but what can we do to stop the DNC from making the primaries again?
Wow, that's the question, man. Hey, look, Rob, thank you for the question, man. I'll do my best to answer. It's just a suggestion, my brother Rob, because if I knew the answer to that, I mean, they would probably come get me today, wouldn't they? Real talk. But I agree with you, brother, that we got to do something. One of the things that we do, and I support third parties, right? Though I support Tulsi Gabbard and Bernie Sanders, and to a certain degree, I'm listening to Andrew Yang as well, because I think universal basic income, I'm glad he put that on the map, but federal jobs guarantee is also something else I'm looking at. But back to your question, man, I think what we have to do is support third parties. That's why I also support Green parties and People's Independent Party, as well as the Democratic Party. I believe in working both inside the party, outside the party type of manner of trying to get things done. But I'm not one of those people, man, that believe that everything is about elections. I believe that some things are about grassroots activism. I'm an activist at heart, That's how I got started in politics, getting involved locally. I care about local races. I was involved and interviewed Ben Jealous in Maryland. He was running for governor of Maryland, would have been the first black governor for Maryland. He wouldn't have been great just because he was black. He'd have been great because he's progressive. So he wanted to legalize cannabis, get us a $15 minimum wage, and and free local college tuition. So there are things that we can do locally as well. But as far as the DNC, my brother, I'm almost totally fed up with them at this point. I do realize that it's an uphill battle, but what am I going to do, right? What are we going to do? This is where we are right now. Hopefully, I live long enough to see a change, and we'll have additional parties. That's what I was fighting for last election. So actually, bro, I don't know if if that's a suggestion that makes sense for you. Like I stated, if we knew the answer to that, we'd shut it down today. We'd be done. So get involved locally, some type of grassroots organization. Also, work with independent political parties as well, as we work on the inside and the outside. That's what I think. Wish I had a better answer, but it is the answer. I think it's the answer of all of us who are engaged politically, who are awoke and see what's going on with the DNC. Thank you, Rob. I appreciate you, my friend. Great question, man. Just probably the hardest question I probably get. Like, that is like a trigonometry question, because I want to say, I think we need election integrity. And Tulsi Gabbard has a bill to strengthen the integrity of our elections. That's important. Anyway, 501, you live, Freedom Friday. How you doing?
Hey, Tim, it's Arkansas. I'm doing well. How are you tonight?
I'm good, man. Glad to have you back.
How much I own that Arkansas thing that we came up with last time I called in. Hey, I think I want to do a rant tonight. You just talked about being woke. I think I want to kind of talk about what it means to me, what I'm woke about. But before I do that, I just want to say, like I always like to say, thank you, Tim Black, for doing what you do. Thank you for Freedom Friday. I just joined your wolf pack. I'm glad to be part of that. And, man, I'm not even a guy that does that kind of thing. I don't donate to anybody's anything. I really don't. The last donation I made was to the Bernie Sanders campaign, and we all know how that turned out. And so you're an elite member of folks that I donate to, and it's very well worth it. You earned all my respect with your allegiance to the truth. That's what brings me here, and that's what I like to remind everybody that's what you're about, and encourage everyone else to support you, man. Thank you for all your work. You're working your ass off. You're always out there making noise, and thanks. All right, and I'm not trying to kiss your ass, but it's just, someone needs to tell you that every once in a while, I think, and maybe it helps get you through your day. I don't know.
It does, brother. Thank you,
Here's my rant.
Go ahead, bro.
Man, I think that I am really afraid for my country today, and I'm disappointed and scared and worried for the future of our country because we have some folks that are willing to lead us down a path with no way out. And what I mean by that is the latest Russiagate thing. There's a lot of folks behind that momentum of that crazy lie conspiracy theory that now half of our country, people we know and love, our neighbors, our friends, our family, have been thoroughly misled. And if you don't believe it, take a minute to just try to empathize with those that do, and how frightening of a reality that is, to think that all those lies are actually real and true. And that's a scary place to be. It's got us all hating each other at a level that's quite embarrassing as well. We're not united as a country, and that division is pointed at the wrong person. They blame Trump for that, but and so I think that I'm the kind of person that likes to sort of back away every once in a while and try to take a bigger look at it. And in my personal opinion, my humble opinion, it of course comes down to the money. And I don't think we'll ever have any hope of fixing this unless we can address that core, the corruption that is. I mean, no one's calling our system corrupt. I'm going to call it corrupt tonight. It's fucking corrupt. Come on, it's corrupt. We're not represented in Washington. We're not going to be represented in Washington. If Tulsi Gabbard gets nominated for the Democratic nominee, I'll kiss your ass. Nothing's changed. Nothing's going to change. It's going to have to be broken before it can be fixed. And so I welcome the death of these old ass old way politicians. And, you know, I still want the promise of the internet, which came around and promised, you know, freedom of information for everybody, and has become its own, you know, just another propaganda channel that's where they're deplatforming the voices of reason and the people that want to tell the truth. So I guess I'll quit there, although I had 1,000 other thoughts. I don't want to monopolize the whole evening, but thank you again, Tim, for what you do, and thanks for listening to me tonight on Freedom Friday.
Thank you, Sean, for the kind words, man, and your comments. And yeah, you know, it is. Yeah, man, it's corrupt. Brother, I'm one of the people that totally agree with you. I have no problem saying it either. Corrupt is the only term you can say for it, man. When people take money, and you know what it is. Now this is something I've been fighting with my entire, you know, as I've got more acclimated to the political side of the deal. Because originally, Sean, I would just talk about social issues, things that would happen in the world, and politics. I kind of went down that hole, the bunny hole in 2015. Because of callers like you who said, Tim, you should get involved politically. We like the way you call things straight. I realize our system is corrupt. It's not just the individuals. To exist within these systems, there's an amount of corruption that you must be able to live with. And I think, unfortunately, it changes people. I think people truly believe that they have to adhere to the system. Like, I imagine, like, if you're going through a pipe that's fitted a certain way, you know, like on the cartoons, the pipes, like a Bugs Bunny would get trapped in the pipe, and the pipe was bent, it would go this way and had different angles, and his body would be bent, and he'd come out the other end like a pretzel. Well, that's the way I look at politicians. Because you can go in like you and I, Sean, being as real as we could be and calling it straight. But then the first thing they do is get you on the phone and have you raising money. Selling your soul, trying to get money so you can stay in office. And then you got donors who come to you and they're saying special interest groups that want to contribute to your campaign. But in order to do that, they're looking for you on legislation. Right? And then you had the powers that be within your party saying, well, you can't support that piece of legislation, because the Republican came up with it. Even if you agree with it and you think that's a good policy, you can't support it or you'll be bashed in your own party, and you won't be able to get any of your legislation done because people in your party will hold it against you that you supported a Republican even though the ideas were good ideas. Now, I'm not making that up, man. I heard Tulsi Gabbard say that was her experience when she started, when she first went into Congress. She went in thinking, you know, wow, we can change the world, we can do some great things, and you're bombarded with reality of how corrupt that system is. So I agree with you, Sean, that the system is corrupt, thus corrupting those who enter it, and we need to overhaul the system. Thank you for the phone call. I'm going to go to 917. 917. Oh, 917's gone. No, he's not. 917, you're live, Freedom Friday. Hey, how you doing? 917, you're live.
Hey, Tim, can you?
Hey.
Can you hear me, Tim?
I hear you. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Listen, you know, normally whenever I call you, I always say Tim Black, the man with the swagger shaft and Barry White's voice. Nah, I'm not going to say it this time. I'm going to say Tim Black, the man Shaft wishes he could be. Because you were killing it, man. You were killing it lately.
Yeah, you tripping, man, but I appreciate it, man. It's been a rough week.
Oh, you know, for me, it's actually had a good day. And I finally got some job offers, so I'm going to start off with tonight donating to the Tim Black Wolfpack. You're gonna have this, but if you get a tab by the name Osama, that is my actual name, so you know don't be scared.
I'm not scared, man.
Well, you know, you might hear some clicks because once the dude named Osama starts donating to you, that's just Homeland Security up your ass. So you know, you're gonna be dealing with that.
You good, man.
But I will say this, man. Last time I called, I was telling you about Lee Camp's interview with Max Blumenthal, and you can't believe how much I meant to him. And we're like, oh, yeah, I'll be interviewing him Monday. I was like, oh, listen to his guest. God damn. I was like, I'm signing up for his thing. Damn, all right.
Yeah.
No, man, I appreciate that. So, just two things I just wanted to ask. So I'm gonna sign up tonight, but could I ask one small favor?
So,
When you get the chance to when you interviewed Max, could you just ask him why is it that like when the media admits that like the last area in Syria is held by Al Qaeda, they still call them rebels. Like they admit it's Al Qaeda held, but they'll still say rebel held. If you could ask him why they do that, or like why they don't admit these things right off the bat, I'd just be curious.
well, you know what? To make sure I remember, brother. Hold on. Make sure I remember. Just email it to me or hit me up on DM, man. The question.
I don't do Twitter, but I'll definitely try on the Wolfpack thing.
Yeah. Do it through the Wolfpack thing, man. That'll work.
Okay, cool. All right. The second part I want to say is, I'm actually, I'll be honest with you, I'm happy there's that smear article on Tulsi. You know why? Because anybody who has half a reasoning reads that article. They don't view that as a smear. They're going like, wait, you're going to smear her because she wants to end wars? Like, this is what you're coming after? And I'm saying, in my opinion, there's no bad publicity. Because think about how they did the same thing to Trump. Remember Trump had said, I'd never forget it. It was on the, first off, I despise Trump, so anyone thinks like I'm, encouraging Trump, please don't. But I said, remember when Trump was on Fox News debate, and he had said, the Iraq War was the biggest blunder? What did they say the next day? He'll be kicked out of the Republican Party. He said the worst thing he could. Really? Then why did his numbers just keep going up and up? So the more they smear Tulsi, you want to stop wars. You don't want a war with Iran from John Bolton, the man who led us to the Iraq War. It's like, you're reading that and you're going, that seems very rational. I love that. That's awesome. And plus, on top of that, these people who write the articles, you're right, they're just pure garbage. And I guarantee you, they've never served in the military. They've never seen people die in front of their eyes. They just sit back, they write these articles, and they're just like, oh, yeah, I know what's best. And people who are struggling in parts of America or who have family members who join the military trying to escape poverty or have no way out, they're reading this and going, fuck you. This woman's standing up for something. I like this. I want this person. Because Bernie talked a little bit about war, but Tulsi will rail that thing home. And I'm telling you, man, there really is no bad publicity in that sense, because in the same way they tried smearing Trump with that way, all that did was just backfire. He just doubled down. They were like, it was a Chuck Todd was like, so you think we should have invaded Iraq? And he's like, no. He's like, but Mr. President, Putin's laughing at us. And I'm like, first off, grow a pair of balls. The second, you think Americans want war, you clearly don't understand Americans. In my opinion, you're just backwards crazy on that. Anyway, I don't want to take up the time. I just want to say you got a new member. I love you, Tim. You're killing it, man. Keep doing what you're doing, baby.
Man, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for the phone call, man. And thank you for joining the Wolfpack. That's what's up, man. Dude, I don't like the smears. I get your point, though. Like, it's a badge of honor, and that's the way you got to look at it. And I'm sure that she's been through this so many times that, of course, you don't like it. Like, no one likes to be smeared. I don't think people ever get to the point where they're like, ooh, good, a smear article. But at this point, I don't think she flinches. It's just another thing to debunk. And I would, maybe it's inspiration. Maybe I look for her to do another, maybe not give them that attention, because Daily Beast is really not. I mean, it was like the New York Times, Washington Post, somebody a little bit bigger profile. I mean, they wrote 5 pages on Tulsi Gabbard that were basically rehashes of other smear articles. And basically, about Susan Sarandon and a guy who sympathizes with the Kremlin for a whopping total of $1,500 in contributions. It's like, all right. So, it's ridiculous. Anyway, I'm going to go to the next call, man, but thank you for the comment. Yeah, tim@timbblacktv.com is my email, and anybody can send to me. And I will be posting there this weekend on my Patreon for my Tim Black Wolfpack members who are black and bold. there's certain tiers that people are on, and I try to give people incentives. So I say, if you're a Tim Black member, when I have guests like Max Blumenthal Monday, the next time I do a live show, you can submit questions, and I'll get to as many of them as possible. So that's for anybody. And I've had some great. I've been fortunate enough to have some great guests on this show, from Ro Khanna to Jill Stein, to Greg Palast, writer for Rolling Stone, Jimmy Dore. Like, I had a lot of great people on the show. Lee Camp, people that you like, and people that you'll find interesting, and some candidates too. All right, I'm gonna keep it moving, guys. Let's roll 678. 678, you're live on Freedom Friday. What's your name and what's your comment?
Freedom Friday. What's up, Tim?
What's up, Dave? How you feeling, man?
I'm doing good, man. I thought I'd give you another call and talk for just a sec about Tulsi and Bernie, man, if that's okay.
Of course, man.
You know, man, people are just so critical of Bernie, Tim. And I'm just not sure what they think he can do. What do you think he has? A magic wand? Look, I fixed all the corruption. It's magical. Even that's not the way this works. You know, they always say the first person through the wall is always the bloodiest. Well, who do you think the first person through this wall is? It's Sanders. The reason he became so popular is because nobody was speaking up for the people. There was a vacuum when he ran back in 2016. Now Ron Paul started speaking up about the war in Iraq and stuff. And remember how they cheated him?
Yeah.
So one could argue he was actually the first, but I don't think he was. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he was, but Bernie is the one that just straight up said our political system is corrupt. He said, we're turning into an oligarchy. I mean, that's basically pronouncing to the entire United States that our democracy has fallen and rich people have taken over. I mean, he called it out. That's what all this is about. That's why Tulsi is here, is because Bernie spoke up. You know?
Right.
And I don't think, what do you think? I mean, what do people think would accomplish with him saying that the DNC cheated him? What happens when Clinton says that Trump cheated him? Nothing. Not a goddamn thing. Nothing changes. That's a plan of anger. It doesn't accomplish anything. Yeah, it sounds good. It makes you feel good to hear Bernie say he was cheated, but it doesn't change anything. What you have to do is gain power and rally the people to come together and march on all the political institutions to stop it. I mean, if you don't have any power to write legislation to change the system, then talking about it isn't going to accomplish anything. You have to gain power. You need power. So I don't understand what people think Bernie is supposed to do. I mean, when he says it's not me, us, he's telling you I can't do it alone. You keep saying I can do it, but that's not the way democracy works. You can't just say, you're corrupt, you have to change. And they say, okay, our bad. You know, this is reality, and the bad guys sometimes win. And so I just think it's ridiculous how what people think he can do. He can't do it. I can't do it. Tim Black can't do it. It will take 150 million people marching on every capital in all 50 states to do it. But you need someone with the platform to rally the people together to do that. And that's what Bernie's doing. And that is actually what he always says, Tim, that it'll take tens of millions of people standing up and fighting back. So I just think the criticization is like there's something else he could do is ridiculous. And I just wanted to talk about Tulsi before I left. Man, I love her. She is unbelievable. And, you know, I don't think she has any chance to win. You know, 90% of Sanders voters voted for the evil queen, Hillary Clinton herself. That's unheard of loyalty. I mean, if they didn't leave him to reject Hillary Clinton, they're not going to leave him for Tulsi either. But with that said, I really think that there's a moment when Tulsi is going to get fed up with this shit. when she's in front of the camera on national television. I want to leave just by praising her. I think there is a moment for Tulsi coming. I don't know if it's this cycle or next cycle, but she's going to get in front of that camera. She's going to get fed up and she's going to get angry. And I think her moment, I think a lot of people are definitely going to notice her and fall in love with her and want her to run again. I think she has a moment coming, Tim, when she gets angry about our military invention and being a vet. I think her moment is coming. And I want everybody to watch out for it. I'm going to make sure everybody's on watching and glued because it's coming, brother. It's coming.
We shall see, my brother. Thank you, Dave. What happened to you, Dave?
I'm here, man. I'm here.
Oh, okay. All right, brother. Thank you for the phone call, man. I appreciate it. Man, I zoned out for a minute there while Dave was talking because Dave reminded me of something, man. Let me say something about that first. There was an interview, guys, that's very recent. Tulsi Gabbard, I think it was MSNBC, right? She's on a show, and the commentator, it was at the end of the interview. It was a very brief interview, right? And the commentator says, Tulsi, Mrs. Gabbard, I got a question for you before you leave. It's a question I've asked all the guys, and I'm going to ask you too. And it was kind of weird the way he phrased it. It sounded like he was going to say something sexist. Like, it was weird. I had this weird feeling that he was trying to be cute, coy, like, right? Like he was trying to insinuate that he was going to say something that he shouldn't say, you know, that was going to relate to her as a woman, something physical or something sexual or something like that. And I don't know why I felt this, but you got to watch the interview. And I'm going to tell you something. The way Tulsi Gabbard's expression was like, go ahead and try it. Her expression was like Christopher Walken. All right, listen. Oh, you want to die tonight, you know? Oh, you want to die? Okay. Good. Die. You can die. Like, her face, it was nothing. Like no emotion. It was just like, go ahead and try me, mofo. And it was, and I know he could feel it because he dropped eye contact and just kept looking down. Oh yeah, well I was going to ask you, would you consider a woman running mate, a female running mate with your campaign? I'm asking all the guys if they would have a female. Would you consider, would you think America's ready for 2 women? And she was like, of course. America wants the best people for the jobs, no matter what orientation they are, what gender they are. But so that was today's response, or Dave's statement that she thinks that Tulsi Gabbard will lose it. I don't think she's going to lose it, man. I think she is a trained soldier, and I think she prides herself on not losing it. I don't think she's ever going to lose it. If she ever decides to call it out even more bluntly than she does, I mean, in her last video, she said, we do not need to go to war with Iran. Do not go to war with Iran. Like, and the words were on the screen too. It was like, follow the bouncing ball, idiot. Don't go to war with, like, so she's the most blunt, most pointed politician that we've seen on the national stage, at least in my lifetime. And that on the national stage. And I know Cynthia McKinney was very pointed and very blunt as well. But in this era, let me just say in this era. Now, to Bernie Sanders, to your other point, Dave, yeah, people want Bernie Sanders to call out things. And we had this conversation during 2016. Call it out, and then you don't see him again. That was always my thing. I always thought the moment, because I remember watching him on like CNN, he made a comment, they cut his mic. They didn't even care. Like people think that Bernie and these candidates have a lot of power. They don't own those networks. Bernie Sanders has an advantage now because he's built up these organizations, Our Revolution, all across the country, and he has that name recognition. So now I feel like he has a lot more leeway than he had the last cycle. I don't know how much they want to try Bernie, but I think there's a reason. It's not just that he's a sellout. People just want to say he's a sellout. That's why he won't say things. I don't think it's that. I think there's more to it that we don't know about when it comes to all of the checks and all the things that you have to pay for as far as when you put the Democratic Party on notice publicly. If he says, hey, if you cheat me, I'm coming for you. He's already said that, but he didn't say it like I would say it. Get what I'm saying? And I also feel it's my job to say it. Like, media should speak as bluntly and boldly as, like, that's my job, right? I say me, but it's all media's job to print it. And if you're not printing, what they say, if you're not printing something people are afraid for you to print or they don't want you to print, then you're not really doing journalism. You're doing public relations. You're an advertising agency for whoever, right? I think it's our job to call stuff out. It's our job to be relentless and blunt and put people on the spot. Like, that's what I do. I don't necessarily think it's Tulsi Gabbard's job to be hatchet woman on the Democratic Party. That's my job. That's what journalists are supposed to do. We're supposed to call out corruption and thieves and liars and scumbags and philanderers or whatever they're doing, right? We're supposed to do that. And we're so starved as a country for like heroes and people fighting, like Chelsea Manning willing to go to jail, or Julian Assange in jail. Like, we're so starved for Edward Snowden, asylum. Like, we're so starved for real soldiers, real fighters for truth, that we want everything out of one person, right? And it ain't always that way. So anyway, thank you for the phone call, Dave. I appreciate you. I agree with you. I do want more out of Bernie. That's because I'm selfish. But I'm going to do my part too, right? All right. Go on next call. 562. 562, you're live, Freedom Friday. What's your name? What's your comment?
Yo, what's up, Tim Black? This is Marvin from California. How you doing tonight?
Marvin, my friend, how are you, brother?
I'm doing good. It's been a minute. I've enjoyed listening to the callers tonight, and I honestly don't have much to say. I wanted to call to let you know I'm still alive and, still support and listen when I can. Peace to you, bro, and to the Wolf Pack, and I'm going to cede my time to the next caller.
My brother Marvin, man. Hey, I did away with my clapping sound because people were like, Tim, that's a distraction. You don't need clapping sound. You sound like you're in the mid-90s with the claps or whatever. But I would hit the clap button for you right now, brother, if I had it. It's good to hear from you, and keep doing you, my friend. And like I said, man, you guys don't know, like the Tim Black Show, we get a little bit bigger, right? But like, we know each other, and that's what that's what I love about what we've done, right? We built a community of people that care about each other. So it's a beautiful thing when people like Marvin call up, who've been calling up for like 3-4 years, man. And so become a member of the Wolfpack, join our community. If you can't join up monetarily today on Facebook with our great people on Facebook, Truth Bomb activists, Wolfpack people, all of our members. If you can't join with money today, that's okay. Become a member in spirit, and when you can join, right? Because we really have something going on, man, that's special. And I don't see it everywhere else. Like, I see TYT, and I see other shows, people they cluster together, but I don't see the same. I see people trolling. I don't see people that really care about one another. My people really care about one another. They don't just care about me. Of course they care about me, but they care about each other too. They care about a vision. They care about the collective. And I love that about us, y'all. I mean, I really love it. Truly, I admire it, and I sit back sometimes and I marvel at the sincerity of the people. Just good people. So like I said, it's not just, I never hear these guys talk like this. I'm right now, yo, I'm getting goosebumps, man, because this is real. This is what makes this show special. It's you guys, man. It's you guys. You guys make it special. So anyway, that's it. Thank you, Marvin, for the phone call, man. That was 562. I got another 5. I got a couple 5. 6, 7, 480. 480. You're live Freedom Friday. What's your name? What's your comment?
Close, but far away.
Hey, how you doing? Hey, who's this?
Is this me?
That's you, my friend. 480.
It's 480.
Right? Yeah, 480. 480. How you doing?
Oh my God. This is hey, oh my stars. This is crazy. All right. So this is what I really want to know. As far as the Russia gate crap, what made you realize is total BS? Because I believed at the beginning that it was total BS, and I don't understand why other people believe that too.
Okay, my friend. Why did I think it was total BS, dude? You know what? Because I think it was back when the book came out, What Really Happened. They talked about Hillary Clinton and how they devised the idea for Russia being the scapegoat story for what happened while Hillary Clinton lost the nomination. Like, they came up with this in her campaign. Like, this is what they're going to do. This is how we're going to deflect from this catastrophe of our own campaign, how we failed to defeat a reality show star. So that was part of it. The other part was, I happen to know a little bit about the internet. It's how I've been, running my business for the last 5 years, right? I know the amount of Russia ads that they were talking about wasn't enough to, look, it wasn't enough to influence an election. They couldn't influence a local election. They couldn't influence a presidential election with the amount of money they're talking about. $100,000 is not enough money to influence an election. Or 1 million impressions on Twitter or whatever. They were talking about these things that were totally not enough to do anything. I'm going to tell you something. Last month, I got about 6 million impressions on Twitter by myself. That's just Twitter. Another 1 million on Facebook, another close to 1 million on YouTube. They got 1 million, they ended up with a couple million on impressions on Twitter, dude, in like an election cycle. I get that on a monthly basis when things are popping. To regular folks who don't know, these numbers sound big. But if this is your business and you know your analytics and you're an influencer, you know what they're saying influenced our election is a drop in the bucket. It's nothing. It's not nearly enough. I know when I was comedy touring with Lee Camp would have to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars for us to to advertise on Facebook for people to come out to the shows in different cities. He would spend about as much money, not 100,000, but I know how much you have to spend on Facebook to reach people, okay? You got to spend a lot more people to influence a general election in the United States of America. That's a lot of work. I mean, to even influence a local election. So anyway, I'm going to leave it there. The articles that were written, the books that were written, what I found out about the DNC, how Hillary Clinton owned the DNC, how she was the purse of the DNC, all these things, not to mention what I know factually. I'm not relying on mainstream media. What I know factually about how Facebook and Twitter work and what they said was the actual influence. It's not enough, man. It's not enough. All right, brother. Thank you for the phone call, man. I appreciate it. And it's just a lot of people because people don't know. They're not in that business. That's why Facebook was like, what? It's not enough. And look, last thing. And a majority of the ads that they say the Russians actually ran after the election. That's another thing that was buried in their documentation. When Rosenstein was presenting it, that's another thing that was buried in there. That Facebook said the majority of the ads were run after the 2016 election. So it's just a bunch of lies, man. Just so they can raise money for elections and cover up the fact that they lost an election to a reality show host who happens to be a better marketer, a better communicator than Hillary Clinton. All right. There we go. 310, you're live. Freedom Friday. What's your name? What's your comment?
Hi, Tim. This is Skip calling from Los Angeles.
What's up, Skip? Yeah, I hear you, my friend. What's on your mind?
I love your show.
Thank you, brother.
The reason I'm calling, I think Tulsi Gabbard is one of the most intelligent, dynamic candidates out there for the Democrats. But I think that the Democrats across the board, once they finally make their selection, I really believe that they're going to lose. And I think the issue that they're going to lose on, and you touched on it in some of your past shows, they're going to lose on gun control, because I don't think the Democrats, they're kind of tone deaf to the rest of the nation in regards to what gun control really means. And you have people on here like, for example, Stacey Abrams out of Georgia. She was one of the most dynamic, more politicians out there. And she was actually a better candidate than the gentleman she was running against. However, her position on gun control really sunk her candidacy. People don't want their personal property confiscated. People don't want to be told what to do. And I think a lot of these candidates, they've taken that Bloomberg money and they become sock puppets because they've given them so much money. And I think at the end of the day, it started out as something good. It started out as a subject that they thought would resonate with the American people. But, I'm out here in the streets and I talk to people all the time. People don't like to be, people don't like politicians confiscating their property. And at the end of the day, that's it. And that's just my position on it, sir. Thank you for accepting my call. I sincerely appreciate it.
Damn it, my bad, guys. I'm going on and on. Thank you, Dave. Listen, man, damn it. My point was, that's messed up, guys. Anyway, I went on a tangent about guns, and I'll just leave that alone. Oh, man, that sucks. That sucks, man. Look. That's crazy. Thank you, Dave, for Stone Mountain. He just called me up and said, Tim, I knew what he was calling for. I just saw that I was muted. Look, guys, I'm going to leave it alone. Let me go back to a caller. All I want to say is, if I can answer the question of how you get guns out of the hands of the killers, how you get guns out of the hands of terrorists, how you get guns out of the hands of abusive spouses, kids, and hell, something that people don't talk about, how you get guns out of the hands of people who are suicidal. If I could answer that question, it's sort of like with Rob when he asked me, how do we fix the DNC? If I could answer that question, it's like it would be right up there with the cure for cancer, dude. And I don't know it. But I don't think the answer is go get all the good people's guns. Go get the people that use them and have them in them homes to protect themselves, or go, I don't think that's the answer that solves that's something. It's like, oh, do something. We got to do something. Yeah, you say that when it's not you, right? What if they say we got to do something? Everybody, give me your TV sets or give me your Game of Thrones. Like, hold on, we ain't got to do that now. Because it don't affect you. So when you say, oh, we got to do something, it's something that other people got to do. It's something that other people got to take an L on. That's the problem. I don't know if that makes sense, but when it's easy to say, hey, I'm desperate, we're frustrated, we got to do something. It's complex, man. I'm going to leave it alone, but it's complex. I saw that they passed a law. Where is it where the teachers can carry guns now? Dude, I don't know how to fix the problem. Is it okay to say I don't know the answer? Yeah, I don't know the answer. Shit. I don't know it. That's messed up, man. I can't believe I talked all that time without knowing, without anybody can hear me. 561. 561, have you commented yet?
No, I haven't. How you doing, Tim?
Man, how you doing, my friend?
I'm good. My name's Ty. I'm out of West Palm Beach, South Florida here. Thank you for giving me a chance to talk and practice my public speaking a little bit here.
Absolutely, Ty.
So let me start with Donald Trump. I'm tired of progressives thinking that he's different from the deep state. He's not one of us. He's part of the deep state. It's not the deep state versus Donald Trump. He doesn't exist and have an agenda independently of theirs. The whole Russia thing is a complete distraction to allow them to continue to do regime change wars, i.e. Venezuela, who half the left thinks we're supposed to be over there and we're doing them a service by putting these sanctions on them and all of that type of thing. They don't realize that the person in charge is trying to sneak guns in there just like he has in the past. So it's not the Donald Trump versus the deep state. It's the two of them working together, creating distractions so that the American people doesn't know what's really going on. I also think that we're not better off with Donald Trump than if Hillary Clinton would have got elected. I don't like Hillary Clinton. I think she's corrupt. I think plenty of things wrong with her, but I think she would have been better for the country than the situation we're in now. And if the Democrats and the progressives don't figure out a way to get together and unify with each other, we're going to end up with Donald Trump again. It's going to happen if we don't figure out a way to come together. And we're not going to change our party unless we start pointing out all the similarities to the Republican corruption every time the Democrats are corrupt, because it's the same corruption. It's the same agendas that are being served. So if we can point that out and identify it every single time, then maybe we'll start to be able to view politics in a nonpartisan way and an agenda-driven type of way, and know who's really pulling the strings. I wrote some notes down. Let me see what else I got to say. Trump flew on the Lolita Express. Evil man. The whole Russiagate thing, it's possible that he had collusion and corruption with Russia that had nothing to do with the DNC emails and it's perfectly possible that WikiLeaks wasn't working with Russia or the Trump campaign to put that information out there for the American people. If he is a true journalist, it would have just been an obligation that this truth needs to go out, whether or not it serves someone's agenda or makes one way look better or worse. It's the truth, and it should be out there, and people should appreciate that from either side, to have as much truth as possible when making a decision. Even if the truth hurts your team, the truth should be out there.
Wow.
Let's see, what else do I got written down here? There's a couple other things going on. I think Obama gets a one-sided summary from progressives of his time in office. I think that there was 2 years where he didn't have a chance to do anything.
Wow, brother.
That the country wasn't asleep. Maybe some progressives were asleep, but the gas, when he got into office, the gas was nearly $4 a gallon, and I was living in the middle of the country at the time. I think that the deep state, in that case, 2 years for him to finally roll over and have to do something. And I think there may have been a lot of pressure applied to the first black president of our country to be a certain
I can't do it, man. Ty, I can't do it. Ty, I can't do it, brother.
Racism exists on a spectrum.
Ty,
and
I
I'm
can't
saying
do
Obama,
it, man.
He did a lot of bad things.
I can't
but I
do
don't
it.
think he went into office with
I
that
cannot
intention.
do it. I
don't
cannot
think he
abide
went
it. I cannot abide it, Ty. Goodness gracious, man. You make excuses for Hillary, and now you make excuses for Obama too? You can't do it all in one call, man. You cannot. I cannot allow you to make excuses for everybody. You are making excuses for Hillary. You make excuses for Obama. Now you're saying Obama couldn't do stuff, and you're saying Hillary would have been better. She would have done stuff. My brother, and then you say Trump, for some reason he's tied with the deep state and like good. Well, if Trump's not in with the deep state, what was Hillary?
Hillary is also the deep state. They were at each other's weddings. They're one and the same.
So you don't think it's possible he could just been a rich guy who know a lot of people, and that's why they were at the party together at the wedding? That got to do anything with the deep state? Come on, man.
I think that I don't know if the wedding had anything to do with
it. You brought it up. That's why I said I don't think it has anything to do with it either.
I'm saying that the idea that Trump hates Hillary Clinton and he thinks that she's this deplorable person is all a facade.
Okay, that I agree with. I agree with that.
I think that the same agenda gets served no matter which one of them is in office. And I think that needs to be pointed out every time we talk about a Joe Biden or a Kamala Harris, or even Elizabeth Warren. If she's not gonna prosecute the bankers after giving them that tongue lashing, we have to question what motivates that. Where's that coming from? We have to have our eyes open on both sides, and we have to stop letting ourselves be torn apart. Like RT.
When you say torn apart, what do you mean by torn apart, my brother? What do you mean we gotta stop letting that stuff be? Are you one of those people who says that we're divided?
I think that I guess if you want to call it the Democratic Party or the left in this country, is a large spectrum, and I think that there's still a lot of people that don't get their news from the internet and get their news from corporations, and they have a different perception of politics than we do, the people who get their news from independent media and make sure to check their sources and know who their journalists are and where their information is coming from. Okay. So I think knowing that information, we need to be aware of what the perception is, so we are fighting the right things.
God, brother.
And paying attention to the right things.
All right, Ty, I got to leave it there, man, but I appreciate your phone call, man. I'm sorry it's not much we're going to agree on, but, I have no problems with us having disagreements, man. It's a healthy disagreement. I got all the respect for you, and I'm glad you called up. I just got to say, man, that, dude, like, people who don't know about politics, who don't know what's going on, like, for instance, we had the same thing on the right and the left, okay? Let's take homelessness. How many Republicans know that 40% of homeless people have jobs? I think very few of them know. I think very few conservatives know that 40% of our homeless people are people who actually have jobs. They have this idea, this picture, when they have an image in their head about homeless people, what do they think? What do they think? They think it's somebody who just don't want a job, who's drinking alcohol or doing drugs, just hanging out in the street. They don't think it's a family of 4. Somebody lost a job or somebody had an illness and lost their job. Then they lose their home. Now they live in their car till the car gets towed. Like, they don't know that's more likely the reality than the guy who's just drinking and like they're still stuck in an Andy Griffith episode where Otis locks himself in the jail every weekend because he's like, Andy, I'm a disgrace, Andy. And he's just a derelict and he just goes a degenerate who locks himself in the, who just drinks and falls out on the curb like in an old Western. Like, they don't know this stuff. So just because, but if I know the reality and I know that almost half of the people that are homeless, I know for a fact they're working people who just don't make enough, like Walt Disney, like the Walt Disney workers who don't make enough, who sleep in cars. Like, there's a whole town worth of people who work at Walt Disney who weren't making enough money to live anywhere except in a car. But so you think I'm supposed to alter my message so I can unite with people who don't know that? No, they need to be educated. We can't just say, okay, these people don't know, so we need to find common. How do you find common ground with people who have bad information? There is no common ground. It's similar to the people who don't understand that the black community has 1/10 the wealth of the average black family, has 1/10 the wealth of the average white family, and then they don't understand what's going on in the black community. Well, people are poor. They're looking at LeBron and Oprah and Tyler Perry and Drake and Lil Wayne. They don't know that's like seeing a flying elephant. That most black people have nothing, no wealth to pass down to their family and their kids. But that's not what's in the minds of these people. They think, oh, they're doing just as good as me, and we had Barack, so everything's fine. And, forget the fact that, they couldn't get bank loans, and when they got bank loans, they had higher percentage rates. Forget the fact that, they get hired even when they have the same skills, they're not getting the jobs because they have black names. Definite racism. But because they saw a video with Lil Wayne on it or something, they think, Cardi B, they go, oh, well, they're doing okay to me. So, no, if you got bad information, and I have the accurate information, actually know the stats that if you go to any country in the world, wherever there's poverty, there's crime. These people associate poverty with skin color instead of associating it with poverty, lack of opportunity. So you got people who get so I could go a lot of different directions with this. And what I'm saying is, my point is this, Ty. It's not my fault. It's not your fault. It's no one's fault that people have bad information. We have to get them the right information. Don't give me that deep state stuff about how Obama had to work with Wall Street. He didn't have to work with Wall Street. For 2 years, his ass had the House and Congress. He had all of it behind him. And he focused on DACA, the Louis Ledbetter Act, and marriage equality. That's what his focus was. He didn't have to bail out banks. He could have bailed out Main Street. He could have done it. There's things that Trump's doing right now with that pen that Obama didn't do, okay? Of course he did some things that were good. He did a lot of things that he shouldn't have done. And he did some things he overlooked. Like when he went to black colleges and was like, pull your pants up and stop complaining and get your stuff on and put on a soft shoe and get down and get to work. He never would have talked that way to the Jewish community. You and I know that. So don't let him off the hook. And don't give me this, well, Hillary would be better. Hillary would be doing, probably, you're right, I agree, she'd probably be doing the same thing Trump's doing, but we wouldn't know about it because no one would talk about it. No one would talk about the vast scumbaggery that Hillary Clinton would have done to this country. But everything that Trump does, they talk about. Except when he drops bombs. Oh, they happy when he drops bombs, when he brings war. That's the only time they give him a pass. So I respectfully disagree with you. And stop talking about divided. We're so divided. Look, the 60s and the 50s and the 40s and the 30s, we were divided, okay? Separate water fountains. Back of the bus, that's divided. What we have now is a difference of opinion and a lack of information. And unfortunately, we have some people who believe Rachel Maddow more than they believe their lying eyes. They believe Chris Hayes more than they believe the reality that's going on in these streets. They believe that garbage first. That's on them. It's like they're the ones that need to catch up. I can't slow down. I'm not going to tone down my message to make people who watch these figures. Why do they pay Rachel Maddow millions of dollars? Why does Rachel Maddow make more money than Al Pacino? Come on, man. Why? Why does Chris Hayes make more money than Susan Sarandon? Very basic questions. Why do you think? All right, so I'm going to go to the next call, man. Thank you for holding on, guys. Yeah. 347, you're live on Freedom Friday. What's your name? What's your comment?
Oh, hello. Can you hear me?
I hear you. How you doing?
Yeah, Tim, it's Sheldon from Brooklyn. It's probably like my third time calling in. And I just wanted to, real quick, because I heard you mention Russiagate. And funny enough, I think it was yesterday when, I think the story first broke or whatever. But the thing about Russiagate, when you look at it as a whole, the whole idea of it, obviously, from the beginning, it was very obvious that it was just a hoax. It literally, again, it's just like when you talk about Venezuela, and you're like, oh, why are we in Venezuela? Just go ask John Bolton. It's for the oil. Why is Russiagate happening? Go read the book. Hillary Clinton flat out said, yeah, this is something we came up with in our campaign. But just to kind of skip, that portion, we all know, some of us, in the independent community that listen to independent media, we know that Tulsi Gabbard put out, the Securing the America's Elections Act years ago, literally years ago, when it wasn't, when it was that moment when we're like, okay, Russia, put out some Facebook ads or some, or a couple of memes, cool. How about we talk about, our election infrastructure? She was the only person talking about that. Barely didn't get any coverage in the media, then barely got co-sponsors. But then you have on Twitter, and this is what brought this up, on Twitter you have Kamala Harris now talking about, oh, there's now this, election integrity bill coming out of the Senate. I think it was put up by, I forgot what the Republican that's now running, opposing Trump, forgot what his name was, but they're like, yeah, now we're putting out our own election integrity bill. And the reason why I bring up Russiagate is because obviously you know what her reasoning was, and she even said it when she wrote it, is, yeah, because Russia can't hack paper ballots. And it's like, again, we've said this from the beginning. This is how it's going to be set up. This is how the framing is going to be. Forget, oh, let's talk about, the literal destruction of ballots that went on in Florida. Let's not talk about, Brian Kemp basically running his own election and stealing his election. Oh, no, we're going to pass this bill because of Russia, not because of our own hacking, our own rigging of our own elections, not the interference of Israel, Saudi Arabia, corporations, the mainstream media. Oh, no, it's because of Russia, and this is what happens when we engage in that type of political theater. We allow people like Kamala Harris, who is one of the biggest political opportunists, and for people, and it's not really an issue for people that are actually informed. The problem comes in when you talk about people that are misinformed, because we know regular people, like, I talk about my parents because, again, they're not really that engaged in politics. But when you talk about misinformed people, they look at stuff like, oh, look, Kamala Harris is, giving William Barr a good stern talk, and she knows what she's talking about. She's for me. Oh, look, Kamala Harris is now passing, signing on to an election integrity bill. Again, she's for me, but it's like, no, she's not. This is all political theater. It's all political calculations. These people are not for you. They're not working in your favor. It's literally all political calculations. It's political convenience. Oh, after I did this grandstanding, let me sign on to this bill that now increases my own profile. And again, when you talked about the bill, she was on The View talking about it. It got coverage everywhere. Meanwhile, Tulsi Gabbard's bill, which again, years ago, everyone, Kyle Kalinske, Jimmy Dore, everyone covered it in independent media. No one in mainstream media covered it. Now Kamala Harris is putting her name on things. Now everybody's talking about it because it's not about election integrity. It's not about securing our elections. It's literally about, let's be tough on Russia. Let's, be quote unquote tough on Trump. Now us, we're engaging in this. We're thinking, let's be tough on these people, not realizing that this ain't got nothing to do. They're still going to rig the election. The DNC is still going to cheat. They're still going to do these things. So it's just a matter of, again, disengaging, understanding what's really going on, especially behind the scenes. Like, a lot of the stuff that they do is political theater, especially when you see certain people signing on to these things. That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, brother. Thank you, Sheldon, man, for the phone call. Yeah, man. It's ridiculous, isn't it? And I did a video about Kamala Harris, man, and I think that she's very dangerous. She's very dangerous, man, because she knows how to articulate in a way that's going to inspire votes. So I think we got to really watch out for Kamala Harris. I had nothing about, nothing against her personally as a human being. I mean, if she was on the right side, that'd be cool. But she's a chameleon. Always has been. Once you start digging into her records, you'll see when it was time to be a conservative, she was a conservative. When it was time to be a middle-of-the-road Democrat, she was a middle-of-the-road Democrat. When it was time to be liberal, she was liberal. She'll be whatever the moment calls for. She's formless. She will be whatever. That's someone who's very dangerous and definitely does not have your interest at heart. Her interest is careerist. Her interest is moving up. Her interest is getting as much as she can get for her. She's the only person I feel that Kamala Harris is there to fight for is Kamala Harris. And I challenge anyone to prove otherwise. But thank you, brother, for the phone call, man. I appreciate it. 913. 913, you're live on Freedom Friday. What's your name? What's your comment?
Hey, this is William, and is this me?
That's you, William. What's up, brother?
Hey, brother, this is William. I met you at the DNC protests and called in like twice now.
Cool, man.
Love your show.
Thanks, brother.
Say.
Thank you, man. What's on your mind tonight, William?
Well, I've appreciated what a lot of people have had to say recently, but I'd like to talk briefly about religion, if that's all right. I'm a Christian, and I've been really frustrated by a lot of the so-called Christians. They self-identify as Christians, lately, especially, in regards to these abortion bills being passed in all these states recently. It's very disturbing to me, and but to me, especially among so-called liberal Christians, Democrat Party, vote blue no matter who Christians, that's what they call themselves. That disturbs me too. I follow this page on Facebook about leftist Christians, and they're flooded with trolls of vote blue no matter who and defending Biden and all this stuff, and we gotta vote for whoever's against Trump and yada yada. And it's incredibly disturbing to me because as I'm a real Christian myself. That's how I think of myself. I'm not like, I don't pretend to be perfect, and I don't want to hold myself up to too high of a standard. But I've been following the word closely in the recent years, and I've heard a call towards ministry, and I have been listening to people like James Cone and Reverend Chris Hedges and other leftist ministers. You got wonderful people to choose from: Oscar Romero, wonderful people. And, you know, if you are a real Christian, you criticize empire, you know, you criticize power, corrupt power, and anybody who's holding back the least of these, including Democrats, you know, and it's just incredibly disturbing to me. I was on that Facebook page I heard about, and there was somebody who commented saying they would vote for, I don't remember who it was. There's some like Fidel Castro or, you know, Hitler or whoever it was. That was if they got the Democratic nomination running against Trump. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, you know, it'd be one thing to try and call yourself a Democrat in the vein of, you know, John F. Kennedy and FDR. But, you know, if you're going to call yourself a Christian, you know, Jesus Christ stood up against empire, against the Roman Empire and against the corrupt Pharisees who are embodied today by the right-wing evangelical Christians, so-called Christians, like Jerry Falwell Jr. and all them pushing for these, and all those folks pushing for these abortion laws that are putting women's lives at risk. But it's another, I mean, it's just really disturbing. So I just want to put a message out there to all of your viewers that there are some radical Christians out there, some real Christians, some leftist Christians who are following the example of Jesus Christ, who are fighting for a social movement to fight against corrupt power, you know, and that's what we need today. We need a religious uprising, just like Reverend Dr. William Barber is doing today with his Poor People's Campaign, the National Call for Moral Revival. And you know, I'm just so embarrassed on behalf of the Christian faith for all these horrible right-wing fascist Christians, you know, who are don't care to think. They just care to worship power and domination and patriarchy, and it's just, and white supremacy. It's sickening to me. And I choose as a Christian to follow James Cone and Cornel West and Chris Hedges and them. And I don't know what your faith is, brother, or all your viewers listening tonight, but I'm a Christian, and Jesus Christ is on the side of the real people fighting for justice today, Cornel West and them. Not nearly enough. They're nowhere near fighting for it with Mike Pence. Mike Pence is the enemy. So I just want to share that message with you.
All right, brother. Well, thank you for the phone call, man. And hey, you know, I appreciate the sentiment. Wow. I don't know what to say. I don't have a response to say to that. I look at it like with someone's belief, whatever their beliefs are, you know, as long as it doesn't hurt another individual, you know, have at it, you know. But I think that we, you know, as long as we have empathy for one another and we do good work. Some of the names that you mentioned, I know some, you know, Cornel West and Chris Hedges are two people that I highly respect. I don't know as much about Dr. Reverend Barber, but I do support his movement for the Poor People's Movement. And yeah, and this holier than thou, sanctimonious, saber rattling, pearl clutching, and then denying women, you know, access to medical care or procedures because you deem them unchristian-like. That doesn't make much sense to me. So yeah, man, thank you for your phone call. I'm glad you called in. I appreciate it. And we're going to keep going, man. Wow, we have a diverse list of calls. 920? 920, you're live. How you doing?
Yo, Tim, what up? It's your boy, Riley Rage, calling from planet Earth.
All right, planet Earth. I like it. What's on your mind tonight?
I got a few things, but I just wanted to make a comment about the last caller. I think it's important to not trust and not believe everything you read or see on social media. There's actually a website called thispersondoesnotexist.com. I don't know if you've heard of this website, but it's basically a website, and every time you refresh the page, a photo of a new person appears that's actually not a real person, but an AI-produced algorithm that took faces of everyone and created their own person.
Wow.
So when you combine this with troll farms and bot farms, which is not a conspiracy, that's pretty much fact that's happening. Our propaganda media likes to say that it's other countries that are doing this, but the 2016 and 2015 primaries revealed that the DNC and Hillary Clinton had her own bot farms of her own. So when you put all that together, you really have to question and think about what you're taking in on social media. So that's for that last caller. But I wanted to talk about a little bit like Russia. Ever since 2016, that was obviously, you could take Russia and replace it with Hillary Clinton and DNC. That's basically what happened there. And Russia is a perfect way to avoid any introspection on the DNC or Democratic Party and shift all focus away from themselves. So for me, that was pretty clear in 2016. And to be honest, my mindset has already been looking at 2024. I feel like 8 years of Trump is happening, unfortunately, and that's due to both parties actually preferring Trump. 2016 also showed that they would rather lose to Trump than win with Bernie Sanders. So that's kind of what happened there. And then we got Trump, but the corporate propaganda media loves Trump. They boosted his ratings. That's good for them. The Democratic Party actually loves Trump. He's a perfect punching bag to avoid everything looking internally. And I mean, we really kind of live in a one-party system. Wouldn't you agree? Not a two-party.
Oh, yes, pretty much, yeah. Elitist establishment, yeah. Status quo, right.
Yeah, now I kind of lost my train of thought, but I also wanted to say that we need to stop calling the corporate propaganda television and news media journalists, because that's really not what they are, and they're hijacking that word. And the public no longer really knows what an actual journalist is. What you see on TV is corporate government propagandists. So and I kind of wanted to say I'm the only candidate I'm really supporting for 2020 is Tulsi, but the only thing I have a problem with her is just the fact that the Democratic Party is attached to her name. That's a toxic entity, and having your name attached to that will only eventually do you harm. But and just kind of going back into my history a little bit, so you kind of get, your viewers kind of get a more of a perspective of where I'm coming from. 2012, I was down, and I loved Ron Paul. I thought he was the shit, and backed him. And I find it interesting that Ron's backing Tulsi now. Or that'd be 2008, sorry. 2012. And then the 16, I backed Bernie, then ended up voting Green because I just couldn't get down with Bernie. I feel like he lost his spine, and the fact that he still really can't stand up and fight against the corruption that happened to him, that's just not someone I can get down with. And then pre-2012, I was into Obama. I kind of fell for his campaign and his original message. So I just wanted to throw out that at you and keep doing what you're doing, because it is needed, and this is what an actual journalist looks like. So keep it up. And Riley Rage is out. We are the rise of the underground. Peace.
That's it, Riley. Thanks for the phone call, man. I appreciate it. I'm going to keep my comments to a minimum just to get through all the phone calls. And 917, have you had an opportunity to talk yet?
Hey, Tim. It's Kennedy from Brooklyn.
Hey, Kennedy. What's on your mind tonight, my friend?
All right. Well, I had just some passing
90 seconds.
It seems like it's rebranding season. We have Biden still pushing on along, ignoring every fact of his dismal career, and just smiling his way, thinking he's going to pull a Hillary, or at least that's the plan. He's just going to ride it out, and expect to get the coronation. We have Beto with his stupid haircut. What the hell? I mean, come on. He tried it with the dental exam.
60 seconds.
We thought that was his Howard Dean moment, and he learned his lesson, and he'd move on. But no, now we have to watch him get his haircut. Now we're supposed to believe that the husband of a billionaire is going to a local barber and going to have a chat with the help about, hey, get out of here. You know that his Vanity Fair stylist is so pissed that he messed up all the layers that they carefully crafted into his high expensive haircut to pull off whatever image they're trying to manufacture. But now he's trying to rebrand himself. So that's another foolish step in his lack of evolution, no policies. Then there's Elizabeth Warren, because it is rebranding season, and she's going to be tough.
10 seconds.
Go on, Fox. There's nothing tough about that. That shows how spineless she is and how she doesn't realize what an opportunity she has to engage people. She'll fold like a cheap suit. We know this. I'm sorry to say it. I love Elizabeth Warren, or I love who she was. Unfortunately, in the past handful plus more years, she's all talk, no walk. And it's unfortunate because people will back her and they'll use the P word, progressive, which has been bastardized at this point, and they're giving her a pass. And I just don't see it. I can't get behind her because she's just too, well, I hate to say it, but spineless. Kamala, the shapeshifter, I love how you always clock her on that. Thank you, Tim. She is doing the most strategic thing. She's keeping quiet and she's speaking when she knows what she's talking about, or at least where she can make an impact. She's like leaving little jabs, so she's like, don't forget me. But she's being smart and she's keeping out of the limelight because she's letting everybody else burn out. And then she'll come up from behind and they'll try to pull the whole Biden / Harris duo ticket, whether it's her as the president or the VP. We'll see. But it's clear that's the way the superdelegates are going to stack it with the way that they're, throwing everyone in the kitchen sink in there. Oh, including my mayor, Bill de Blasio, the worst politician in recent memory. This guy snuck his way into office with the stupid Tale of Two Cities, like playing out the whole income inequality and my wife of color and my son's afro is taller than me, and get out of here. Come on with identity politics. But he milked it. He milked it because it was still during that warm, fuzzy period where people weren't looking at policy and they just saw this guy who seemed progressive and he was saying progressive things. But he's a bullshit artist and I can't stomach him. I can't wait till he's out of office. But the fact that he's going to throw his hat in and think that he has some potential pull, get out of here. You would not even get dog catcher in your own city and you think you're going to be the president? This is just another Clintonite, another Clinton-esque politician who's in it for the fundraising. He's going to grab as many donor dollars as he can grab and scoop up. Meanwhile, his wife is under investigation for mismanaging millions of dollars on a program that she had no right to really be put on. It was very, very nepotistic. And they're moving on along as though nothing's wrong. Meanwhile, he got caught just last week driving in the wrong direction, and it was some kind of terrible accident as a result. And because of that, he didn't announce his candidacy last week. So get out of here, Bill, with your nonsense. It's just another person crowding the field so they can begrudge Bernie of his potential nomination because he can't reach the threshold of 50%. So here they are. It's very clear. We know what they're doing, and when it does happen again, because I don't want to be a pessimist, but it's they're redoing the Iraq war. Now it's just they just changed it to Iran. So if they can do the same architecture and the same lead up for that, we see that they're going to do the same architecture and lead up to another rigged election where we're just supposed to grin and bear it and vote blue no matter who. And I can't stomach it. If it happens, Tim, I think we need to just mobilize. I think we need to just say hell no and be visible. And if it means hitting the streets en masse, I don't believe in violence, but I do think that large, silent, visible protests where everybody just stands outside and just go to the White House, go to your city hall, go to wherever is like the most prominent place you can go and just stand there and be seen. and let them know they cannot silence us the way they did the last time, because it was a pity. I mean, on television they had, Kool and the Gang or whoever the hell was playing Belle Biv DeVoe. I hate messing up whoever was performing, but they really cut away from like a legit protest of what happened at the DNC, and they think they're going to get away with it again. We cannot allow it. So Tim, thanks for being a voice for all of us and giving us a platform to let us all know we're not crazy. We see what's happening. Yes, I see it. You see it. All of your followers see it. We are not crazy. We know what they're going to do. We just need to get smart and mobilize and be visible. And if it means everybody wears a big, bright yellow shirt or yellow vest or a friggin' yellow hat, show up, be seen, let them know they can't get away with it. And Tim, thanks so much for giving us this space.
You got it, brother. Thank you for the phone call, Kennedy. I appreciate it, man. Great comments. You got it, brother. Great comments, man. I'm going to go to the next call. Just want to remind everybody, I do have a fundraiser for a new computer, and that computer is going to help us keep doing what we're doing. I'm glad that the phone lines are working tonight, but I'm not always as fortunate, guys. So part of keeping the show going is to upgrade equipment in this joint. So just wanted to throw that out there before the end of the show when people start leaving. So I just want to let you know, I'm still raising that, still doing that GoFundMe for that. And I'm going to go to the next call, 343. 343, you're live, Freedom Friday. What's your name and what's your comment?
Hey, Tim Black, it's your friend from Kingston, Ontario, Canada. How you doing tonight? Tim, it's me, Patrick again.
Hey, how you doing, Pat?
Not doing too bad. It's been a very crazy week for both the Canada and the United States, where both countries are now discussing about abortion. Thanks very much to the United States for that. Trying to change to Canada as well with your policies. I'm just joking. But speaking of all that, no war with Iran or Venezuela. Leave them alone. Same thing. But today we kind of made amends today. Both nations agreed to lift tariffs on steel and other products as well. So Canada has finally made a trade agreement with the United States, and Trump is starting to claim that it was all about him and stuff like that. And I'm just like, well, I'm glad that the tariffs are lifted, because then products coming to Canada and the United States are going to be a little more cheaper than they have been recently. And same for you guys with the automotive industry and stuff like that, with cars and aluminum as well. So I'm glad that we both have made an amends on the issue, but I was always wondering, what is your thoughts on the tariffs between Canada and the United States? And do you think it was a good trade deal between Trudeau and Donald Trump today? Have yourself a good one there, Tim.
You got it, brother. Thank you for the phone call. 541, you're live on Freedom Friday. What's your name? What's your comment?
Hey, Tim, it's Joe out in Oregon. How you doing?
Hey, Joe.
Oregon.
How you doing, Joe? What's going on tonight? What's on your mind?
Hey, I'm chugging along. Not too bad for an old man. But I just want to thank you, echo what everyone's been saying tonight. I just want you to know that you're one of my news sources. I have become a news junkie in my retirement. I watch you. I watch France 24. I watch Press TV from Iran. I watch RT. I watch Jimmy Dore. I watch, all these wonderful journalists such as yourself who speak the truth. And I just wanted to kind of get your reaction on what's going on with this evolution of this investigation of sort of the Russiagate, because I learned through one of my contacts that the operation, I guess, what was it, Crossfire Hurricane or whatever it was called. But I learned that this whole, in terms of the resources like Carter Page and spotting Flynn and people like that, started back in about 2015, early 2016. In England at Cambridge University. They have an intelligence think tank there that's headed up by a guy by the name of Dr. Stephen Halpern. and he is a PhD in intelligence. And in his group, there's a guy, I think his name is Sidney Dearlove, who is an ex-MI6. And then there's some Russians that also participated, Surkov and Trevinikov, who was an ex-KGB, FSB general. At any rate, what I've learned, interestingly enough, is this kind of an operation was set up by the Central Intelligence Agency through the Obama administration, and the type of operation it's called is a parallel intelligence construction operation targeting President Trump. And I just want to know if you've heard anything about this, and what are your thoughts about the new Attorney General William Barr and John Duran, the U.S. Attorney in Connecticut, going after people like Comey, Clapper, and Brennan, which I think is going to open up a whole can of worms. It's just, I think, this is my personal opinion. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. I think that what this is going to create is really and truly a constitutional crisis. Really, I think we've been on it, but the news media has really distorted everything on this whole issue. And I just was wondering if you've done any research and what your take might be on that. I'll shut up. Thank you for all you do for us. You're a wonderful, wonderful man, and you're my hero.
Oh, man. Wow. Damn, Joe. Thank you, Joe, for the comment, man. Thank you for the questions. Brother, I'll tell you this, man. I understand. Like, there's only so many hours in the day for me to kind of track down this stuff, but I do feel that they were investigating Donald Trump based on the Steele dossier. I think that it doesn't hold water when they say, well, we've been looking at Papadopoulos, and that's what led us to Trump, but we weren't really looking at Trump. We were looking at people that work for Donald Trump, and he sort of like got caught up in the sort of like the dragnet effect. I don't think that's accurate. I think that obviously that was something that under Obama, this is what they were doing actively. I don't know what's going to come of it, frankly. I don't expect, I know I haven't been keeping up with everything with William Barr, but I don't expect William Barr to be able to, for them to really be able to punish William Barr. I think they're looking for a scapegoat, and I'm going to keep it real with you, man. I have not read the entire Mueller report. Like, I was going to read it. I read some of it, and the people were telling me, Tim, you got to read it, because it's going to show you, just how corrupt the Trump organization is. So that's really where I'm at, my brother. 413, and I just haven't, man. I just don't have time to read that entire document. It's so many pages. 516, you're live, Freedom Friday. What's your comment? 516. Hello. 516, you're live. I hope that wasn't it for my. I think we're still on. 516, you're live.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing, 516? You're live, 516. What's your comment?
Well, a couple. Thanks for taking my call. I appreciate it very much. I appreciate your show. I am discouraged. I think pretty much everyone knows that the fix is in already. Everybody is, I think about when Hillary was running, and the discussion going on behind the scenes was that everybody should sit out because it's her turn. This is how they put it, that it's her turn. And I'm thinking about that, and I am looking at the actions of a lot of people running for president right now. Back then, they considered it, because of some discussion they had, they considered it problematic for anybody else to run against Hillary. This is sort of how they saw things.
True.
And I believe that this is how their mind works. With that said, I think that a whole host of them that are running now who know they're not going to win, the reason they're doing it, you know, pretty much you could sort of look at it, you know, through how they think. They consider it a bad thing. They consider it an attack if somebody runs against their beloved. And pretty much this is why a lot of them are all jumping into the race, including Bill de Blasio and others who cannot win. So I just thought that was something to put out there. I think everybody knows what's going on at this point, and that all of these people who are running, their main objective is really to try to prevent Bernie. That's all, period. That's all of this. That's what all this is about. And that's why more people are going to keep announcing. Yes, it doesn't say anywhere that there should be a limit to who announces or decides to run for president. But the mere fact that amongst the DNC elite, it's not viewed as a positive thing for people to run against their beloved one, that leads me to think that
he's not the
their motives are not clean.
Yeah, he's not the beloved one. Thank you for the phone call, brother.
Oh, one more thing. I wanted to put this out there because I think that if and when, it's more so when, Bernie gets cheated and so on like that, I am kind of curious as to what direction the progressive movement will be going into. I know Jimmy Dore and a couple of people have tried to encourage Bernie Sanders to join with the People's Party. I know there are many people who say that People's Party is not viable in our system and that the system has been set up so that we can only have two parties. But I feel as though we keep going in a revolving door. We may need to do something different, maybe an independent party. There are signs that Bernie would not be on board with that. I'm not sure who's going to be the standard bearer for the progressive movement because, you know, hopefully Tulsi will stand up, but all of them seem to have made this vow to the DNC that they will support whoever or that they'll just shut up. So I'm just, to myself, been wondering, where do we go next as a movement? Because Bernie he's stuck in the DNC.
All right, brother. I got to leave it there, man. Thank you for the phone call. I appreciate it. Just so you know, back in 2016, we were trying to get Bernie to start a new party. It was called Draft Bernie for a People's Party. I was a part of that effort with Nick Brana, Jimmy Dore, Kashama Sawant, and myself. We were there delivering the petitions from all the people from across the country who have signed the petition and gave money, raised money to get a Bernie. We delivered it to his office on Capitol Hill. There is footage out there of us actually doing it. And it just so happened it was also Bernie's birthday. So Bernie was not there. But he rejected our offer anyway. And Dr. Cornel West, and then we had a Draft Bernie convention that we went to for the People's Party. Lee Camp was there, me, Jimmy, Ron Placone, Steph Zamaro. Steph was there. We were all there. Cornel West was on the panel. Kashama Sawant was there, and we had you can go watch all this stuff. It's great stuff, man. And we were making the case to Bernie that it was important for him to consider this. So we've been giving him the opportunity, and also Jill Stein offered to let Bernie run for the Green Party. He could have made the switch to the Green Party. So believe me, I understand the criticisms of Bernie Sanders. He broke my heart too. I was there. You know, I was fighting for Bernie. Then I fought for the Green Party, and we tried to get him to join the Independent Party or to join the Green Party or do something, and he didn't. So you're right. We are here, and I don't know if we can continue doing the same thing or not, but I'm in it. I'm in it for the duration because I don't expect to leave the country. Therefore, I got to keep fighting in some way. I have to continue. And once you know what you know, you can't unknow it. So we got to stay engaged. I feel like, who's going to be the standard bearer for who? For the movement? For our movement? All of us. It's going to be many standard bearers. I don't think we're going to, that idea of one person, forget that. You're a leader. I'm a leader. There's numerous leaders in this. It's going to take a lot of us. So thank you for the phone call, man. I appreciate it. 412. You're live on Freedom Friday. Have you had a chance to comment yet? I don't think you have.
No, I hadn't. Hey, it's Uli. I didn't even mean to call either. I'm tired as hell. How's it going?
Hey, Uli.
But you know what? You know what's really, really great, Tim? You notice how many new people we're getting and how we're expanding and new callers and stuff, and it is so exciting. And it was equally exciting to hear from Marvin. Yeah, I'm like you. I start worrying about people, and they just seem to disappear for a while. But people busy, people have lives and stuff. But who prompted me to call in was the caller that talked about his faith. The caller that called in talking about his being a Christian. I want to thank the caller for calling in. And this day and age, it almost takes some guts to even, openly, what's the word I'm looking for, Tim? To openly state that you have a faith and believe and that you follow. It takes guts because religion has almost become a dirty word, and that is so sad and it's so absurd. Every time we talk about religion, it's almost always in a negative context. We're talking about women's rights, whatnot, and that is not what religion is supposed to be. And thank you to the man so much because I really liked what he said. But people always confuse a religion with a faith, and they aren't the same. A religion is a path. It's like a lecture book. You study this stuff, and most people don't. Most people just they buy into the doctrine and they follow the dogma, and that's all they ever do. They don't take the time to sit down and actually really study, because religions ultimately are all philosophies. You don't have to be like some kind of weirdo, and that's what's being portrayed, though, and that's what we're seeing in politics. And if people really study religion, they would realize that in and of themselves, religion and politics are opposites, dialectically opposed to one another, because religion is in the realm of the spiritual and politics by nature in the realm of the mundane. So which that doesn't mean that you couldn't be spiritual and a politician, because if you really understand the spirituality behind the origin of all religion, it comes down to ethics. And you would want an ethical politician, but you don't see them, and that's why they have to portray what we're really seeing is not what religion is or is supposed to be. What we're seeing is the wolf in the sheep's clothing, and that just about all religions and mythologies talk about that. It's always about a deception, about some entity pretending to be what they are not, and the good people are following them because they're easily, swayed to do so. So I want to really thank that caller, and I want to really, maybe try to inspire some people to look into these things, because what you're seeing, what you're being sold as a religion isn't it. And the Catholic Church, and I hate to say it, that people, when they hear Christianity, they automatically think Catholic Church, and the Catholic Church has is maybe not exactly an institution I would follow, you know. But if you find your faith there, then by all means do so. You know, people got to really, it's so easy to judge when, I guess, you know, you really don't know much about what you're looking at. So that triggered me tonight. I had to call in. I want everyone to have a good weekend. And you know, just think about it a little bit. A lot of our aggression is caused by ignorance, you know. So there. Have a good one, y'all. Give Lala a hug, Tim. All right. Bye-bye. Good night.
You got it, Uli. Thank you so much. I appreciate you calling up. And I'm gonna go to the next call. 408. 408. You're live on Freedom Friday. What's your name? What's your comment? Hey.
Tim.
Hey.
This one better?
Yeah, you're good,
okay,
man.
I think maybe. Hey, it's no more donations, by the way.
No more donations. What's up, brother?
Okay. I called on my cell phone. I think you might have skipped my landline. I called in it was like over 2 hours ago.
Oh,
so
shit.
I don't know. Maybe whatever. But anyway, but I'm on now, so it's all good.
Cool, man.
Hey, man. Yeah, sorry I haven't called in a while. I've been really, really, really busy. But I needed to call in tonight because something's been happening recently. You've probably seen some of it, you know, it relates to Tulsi and Bernie. So I supported Bernie, you know, with everything I had in 2016. I did the whole thing, you know, phone bank, donated, canvassed, all that sort of stuff.
Wow.
I like Bernie, all right? But, you know, now in 2019, it's just I like Tulsi better. I like them both, right? And if we had ranked choice voting, I would vote Tulsi first, Bernie second, Jill Stein third, assuming she's the Green Party candidate in 2020. In fact, I wish Ajamu Baraka, frankly, would run. I wish they'd flip the ticket and Ajamu would run for president, because then I might actually flip my choice to Ajamu first. But anyway, that's something aside. We don't have ranked choice, but whatever. So, you know, if Bernie wins the Democratic primary, I'm going to support him. I'm going to be all in there. You know, I'll vote for him in the general election. If he doesn't win because of the shenanigans by the DNC, because, you know, let's be honest, they're always going to keep trying the shenanigans. Except this time they're trying the opposite tactic. Like I think a previous caller talked about this. Instead of in 2016 where they were just whittling it down to it only has to be Hillary, now they're flooding the stage with everybody to try to dilute the vote with the superdelegates and all that. So yeah. So I you know, I'm not emotionally invested this time in Bernie. I definitely was in 2016. So I get like the anger and the ire and all that sort of stuff, right? But you know, I had that trauma in 2016. I drove 3,000 miles each way, like to Philadelphia and back in the summer of 2016. And I know you were there because I remember, I think it was at the plaza thing where Jill Stein was speaking outside, right?
Yeah.
I just caught, yeah, okay, so you were there, right? I just caught the tail end of your speech. I think, like you were speaking, I think Jill came on, and I still remember turning to somebody and go, "Who's that?" Because I distinctly remember you dropping a bunch of truth bombs, right? So even before I started listening and watching your show, you, believe it or not, you made an impact on me. So I just kind of want to let you know that too. But you know, I like a lot of people, I went there. I voiced my opposition in the streets and, you know, near the Wells Fargo Center, as close as we could get outside that stupid gate, in FDR Park, you know. It was hotter than hell, too, that week. You remember, you were there.
Yeah.
But, so anyway, so you know, lots been happening, and those people that know I supported Bernie, you know, they can still guess I'm going to support Bernie. Mm-hmm. And I know that most Bernie supporters are cool with Tulsi, and they get that Bernie and Tulsi are friends. They had a meeting before Tulsi even launched her campaign, which I believe was in February, which was at least a month before Bernie entered the race, right?
That's
so
right.
if Bernie had any concerns about her entering the race, I'm pretty sure he would have voiced them during that meeting, right? So there's a lot of drama that I've been seeing on Twitter. It's kind of been troubling me a little bit recently. So there's a subset, and I want to be clear about this. There's a subset of Bernie supporters, and I believe it's a small subset, but it's a very vocal, toxic subset who keep making ridiculous claims that Tulsi is somehow stealing progressive votes from Bernie, as if votes are progressive or liberal or conservative or whatever. Votes are votes, and they have to be earned by all candidates, right? No one candidate is promised all votes from any group. So it's kind of it's irrational. That's the word I would use for this. So there's an amount of irrational, toxic nonsense. It's kind of mind-boggling. Believe me, I've tried the tactic of sprinkling facts on some of these folks, but it's basically gone on deaf ears for some of them. And some of these toxic people, they're acting more like members of a cult than rational, progressive people. And when some of these people debate, they use tactics that I saw, Hillary supporters using in 2016. Can't do constructive criticism of Bernie. It's not tolerated. If you do, you get blocked immediately. If you support Tulsi, you're an enemy of Bernie. I'm kidding you not. I saw somebody who recently blocked me. They were telling this to somebody else who I follow, and I was telling this person, hey, you should ignore that person. You're not going to get anywhere with this person. So, so some of these folks think that smearing Tulsi and tearing her down helps somehow to build Bernie up. Newsflash, it does not. It actually has the opposite effect. I don't know if Bernie's aware of it, but I sure hope his campaign is. So I don't know what the solution is for this subset of Bernie supporters, other than the more rational Bernie supporters to speak up and correct these folks. Because I can tell you it's going to cause Bernie to lose support from the actual left, and Bernie really can't afford to lose support from fellow progressives, Yeah. So for those Bernie supporters who are already speaking up to these people, I want to give them a huge shout out, because I know I've seen some of my friends who are Bernie supporters speak up against these toxic folks. So that's why I say I know it's a small subset, but it is a very vocal subset. Anyway, that's a heavy topic, but I thought it needed to be discussed out in the open anyway, because ignoring it, it certainly isn't going to make it go away. And then the last thing I kind of wanted to talk about was Stephen. You mentioned Professor Stephen Cohen, who I guess he donated to Tulsi's campaign, and I'm like, so what? I mean, this guy is one of the foremost experts on Russian history and politics in the world, and Ukrainian history and politics. And he's one of the few people who point out the fact that during the Obama administration, support was given to neo-Nazis in Ukraine to overthrow the elected leader, so that a president who's like basically more friendly to the U.S. and European nations could be installed. And it basically reminds me like what's going on right now with Venezuela. The U.S. is trying to install this puppet, and European nations are all getting behind it. So, the government's they never learn. If I was running for president, I would welcome a donation from Professor Stephen Cohen, and I would shout it out from the effing rooftop.
Wow.
So anyway, that's basically what I wanted to say. And speaking about trigonometry, I was actually pretty good in trigonometry in high school. I actually took it as a freshman. So if you ever have any trig questions, definitely send them to me, brother.
My brother. Thank you. No more donations.
That's it, man.
Always good. Hey, man, tell Bree I said what's up.
I will. I should see her maybe tomorrow or the day after. We're meeting. So yeah.
That'll work.
By the way, I want to tell you, like, Bree and I drove 3,000 miles to Philadelphia, and we drove 3,000 miles back to the West Coast. Hopefully she's okay with me telling you that. But
it's all good, man.
So whatever.
Wow.
All right,
yeah.
Night.
All right, fam. Thank you so much, man. I met No More Donations and Bree, who are part of the Tim Black Wolfpack Forever. They honorary members, man. They came out, I think it was Portland, Oregon, right? So they came out. I he met me. I didn't know. I didn't meet him at the DNC in 2016, but he did come out to me and Lee Camp's comedy show, him and Bree, and I went to several cities with Lee Camp performing. So, yeah, man, that's a beautiful thing when you get to meet people in person, and it's just amazing, man. We had a great time, and after the shows, we always go have a beer. So we sat, we didn't just meet at the show, but we go to a little bar spot. Everybody's there. We drink beer. We hang out for hours. So, man, it's really cool stuff, man. I did a video on the Bernie Sanders and the Tulsi Gabbard riff with supporters. I don't see a riff with Tulsi Gabbard and Bernie Sanders and any of that stuff. So I tried to speak to the issue. I was one of the few people. I said we need to work together. Why are you making a decision? Why are you upset there's more than one progressive candidate? Be glad. Be glad. And it's like getting through these people are so territorial. Look, yo, there are 20-something candidates in this race. I see Tulsi Gabbard as an ally. I see Bernie as an ally to Tulsi. They are allies together. That's the way you should be looking at it. You'll have time. I feel like there'll be much time for me to make a decision either way. A decision at this point right now, I think it's more about you personally than it is about the candidate. There's no voting right now. I don't understand why people are endorsing as independent media, right? If I pick a candidate now, is there any validity or can I say I'm unbiased? So I think if you're working for a candidate, either directly or indirectly, then you're totally biased and in the tank for that candidate. What you say should be taken with a grain of salt. Or you should say in all your videos, hey, I work with this candidate, or I'm trying to work for this candidate, or this is who I'm voting for. You should say that. Because you're basically now a surrogate of that candidate. I don't want to go that far yet. Now, it may get to the point that I am that far in. But as of right now, I'm not. But that doesn't mean I can't support more than one. I want to support both candidates. And and good ideas. And if Elizabeth Warren comes up with a good idea, but she's making it really hard for me to leave the door open for her. I mean, this whole thing, I understand tactically why she does what she does. I understand it. I don't agree with it. I go anywhere and talk to anyone. I've been on the Alex Jones show. I was the same Tim Black. I went on Tommy Lawrence show. I was the same Tim Black. Told her that I thought she was a bigot, basically, and she needs to. And the things that she's trying to pin on Black Lives Matter is garbage. I went on Alex Jones' show and disagreed with him about Sandy Hook. I've been on Jesse Lee Peterson's show and disagreed with him, bashing black people and all of the crazy coonery that he partakes in. So I'm somebody who'll go anywhere and be who I am. I don't know why people, I totally disagree with Elizabeth Warren. But back to the point, man, I am no more donations, brother. You know me. I support both candidates, and I support us working together. I'm all about unity with those who are like-minded. I don't say unified just for the basis of unity, for the sake of unity, but unify around the issues that you support. And we want to end wars. We want to Medicare for all. We want to end mass incarceration, decriminalize cannabis. We want these things. We want to fight against poverty, end opiate addiction, and all these things we want to do that are positive. If both of them want the same things, why are we not supporting both? So I just want to encourage anybody out there watching, loving Tulsi Gabbard's campaign, loving her message, loving what she's about, does not mean that should not make Bernie Sanders an enemy to your efforts, or vice versa. These are my choices. Anyone else's choices, fine. Not bash anybody else's choices. That's just my choice. Same thing with those people who totally, some people discredit her all the time. I don't get it. These are smear articles. And I hate to hear people repeat smear articles about Tulsi Gabbard or about Bernie Sanders. Tulsi Gabbard risked her career for what she believes in, and that gets respect all day long, 7 days a week and twice on Sundays. Hello? All right, guys. I've cleared the queue. I've answered everybody's phone calls. Sorry if I missed you earlier and you hung up or whatever happened, but what a show tonight, man. Give it up for everybody who could, who called in tonight, everybody who offered their opinions tonight. It's just amazing. I want to quickly run through my list of contributors. Gabriel MacArthur, thank you for the super chat. Marvin C in the house. My man, Tim Black, peace and props to you and the Wolfpack. Always, man, Marvin. Good to see you and hear from you, my brother. Hank Herschel says, Tulsi Gabbard on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast was best performance by any presidential candidate on any show in my lifetime, and I was born in 69. Go ahead, Hank. Dr. Winston O. Boogie. Winston O. Boogie. He says, love your show. Keep speaking that truth. You know it, man. That's the only way I could do it. Look, if I have to fake, it ain't worth it, man. It's too much work faking it. I just got to be me. Thank you again, Hank. The stuff Tulsi Gabbard has been talking about, and the truth is that she's been exposing gets many of us shadow banned on Twitter. Rock on, Tulsi. You're right. Tulsi Gabbard puts it down. It's a beautiful thing, man. All right, guys. Facebook people. Hey, Facebook, you can become a member of the Wolfpack right on Facebook. Go to my page, hit become a supporter right on Facebook. I know some people love it. They have a device that limits them to it, and that's the thing. And I didn't even know about that, right? So join there. Next week, man, Max Blumenthal, he's going to come educate us all on ISIS, Al-Qaeda, and Trump. And the Democratic Party. He's got a great book called The gosh, I can't remember the name. It's a book about ISIS influence, CIA. It's a deep book, right? Actually, guys, I know the name of it because I took a picture of it, and I'll be reading as much of it as I can over the weekend. Right? So Max Blumenthal, guys, if you know who he is an award-winning journalist and author. The Management of Savagery: How America's National Security State Fueled the Rise of Al-Qaeda, ISIS, and Donald Trump. So, guys, be here Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for that. I love you. Got nothing but love for you. Now, remember, guys, don't be arguing with people this weekend. It's not worth it. You never win an argument. A man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. All you can do is sprinkle some facts on him. Now, No More Donation says that don't always work. He's right. Some people, you can sprinkle, it's like they got a force field of stupidity. You won't let your seeds of facts penetrate. I understand it, man. But look, this is the thing. Just give them the information. One thing, pick one thing that matters to them. Maybe you'll say, maybe you know that they're a big-time Obama supporter. You can say, hey, we deported people under Obama too. In fact, my Latino friends used to call him the deporter-in-chief because he deported so many of their family members and cousins. All right, man, later, man. I'll talk to you, man. I got to go take care of this stuff, water the grass or walk the dog or something. And just let them think about that because they never heard it before. In fact, people were circulating pictures of children in cages thinking it was Trump, but the pictures were actually old and they were pictures from 2015 under Obama because the same policies were being implemented or the same conditions some of the children were kept in are identical to what Trump was doing. Facts. So maybe you drop that fact, you sprinkle that fact on them, and maybe it connects at some point. They say, wow, I'm being lied to. The other thing we say around here, man, is don't let nobody take your cornbread, which means don't let nobody take your what matters to you, all right? You got to fight for yours in this world. That's what we're about. We're fighting for some form of a democracy in the country that we're trying to leave our kids. That's it. I can't pretend not to know this stuff. I can't pretend that we don't have a corrupt political system. I can't pretend that we have mass incarceration, that people make money off locking up people, that the prison industry, the private prison industry has lobbyists that lobby states to enact tougher laws, stricter laws for no purpose other than to lock people up because they make money off of it. Each body is money to be in jail. They make money off you being there. I can't pretend like I don't know that. Once you know that, you have an obligation to share what you know. And if you're me, who has for some strange reason, people like listening to me talk, I have to do something with it. I can't just, I think it was Les Brown who says, the greatest riches are in cemeteries because they died, they're buried with the people who had the greatest gifts that they did not use. So whatever your gift is, man, the Tim Black Show needs you. Whether it's graphics, hey, hello, we can use that. Web design, hey, we can use that. I don't know. What do you know how to do? What do you want to do? As we move into 2020, man, we're going to be putting the pedal to the metal. We're pulling out all the stops. I'm not playing around. I'm not joking. I'm fighting hard. I will say this. The Tulsi Gabbard campaign has reached out to me, and at least I have a relationship where I can talk to somebody, ask questions, get information. I had the same thing with the Jill Stein campaign. I wasn't a part of their campaign, though. But I could get access to them and ask questions, get information. So I haven't had that with the Bernie Sanders campaign. This reminds me a lot of 2016. I mean, how are we going to win if we don't talk? How are we going to win if we're not talking and we're not communicating? So if you know somebody who knows somebody on the Bernie Sanders campaign, if anybody watches, knows anyone on the campaign, have them contact me. Have them contact me. Hey, look, I'm going to tell you, I'm the loudest voice on the left in the African-American community. There's no one louder. There's no one with more views. There's no one with a deeper reach. There's no one verified on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube that has over 100,000 subscribers, that gets over 6 million view impressions just on Twitter alone. Like, there's no one else. And we haven't talked yet. I don't understand. I thought you wanted to reach the black community. I thought that was important. Obviously, don't tell me, I don't want to hear about how the black community didn't come out for Bernie and this didn't happen and that didn't happen, that didn't happen. Well, there's no one bigger and I'm not hearing from you. And I know you know who I am. Hell, James Sanders follows me. What's up? What's up? What are we doing? Why are Tulsi's people in contact with me but you're not? It doesn't make sense. It does, and what's not going to happen is, at the end of the day, I'm hearing all these articles of people complaining about how black people didn't stand up for Bernie. You got to work with the black community. You got to have people that are in the black community, who are known, who are respected in the black community, to help carry your message. That's all I'm saying. If you don't do that, then we can't win. And this is too big. This ain't personal. This is about winning. This is about my kids and my grandkids, man. This is about my mom. This is about my dad. It's about my neighbors. It's about kids I'll never know. It's about your kids. All our kids. All of us. It's about kids in countries we will never visit. This is bigger than us. And all I'm saying is the importance for Bernie and Tulsi to be successful is monumental. It's paramount. So all I'm saying is sprinkle some facts on them. And don't let them take your cornbread. All right, guys, I'm Tim Black. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you so much for everything you do. I got nothing but love for you. I'll be here bright and early on Monday, this weekend, and look for more content coming out on my YouTube channel. If you're not a member, please subscribe. Please subscribe. Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. And have a great weekend. Peace.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.